Okay, we're live, I
We
think.
are live.
Hey, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Andrew's cousin.
Hello, cousin. Uh,
What's up, Alex? Good to see you.
oh yeah, thanks for. Was Alex in the member chat? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout outs. Much appreciated. I'm just gonna do all the socials.
Oh yeah, I never posted on my Blue Sky, but I probably should. I doubt I have many followers, but
As long as Sean's there, he's the only one who matters.
Cameron, do you have a Blue Sky?
Yes, I haven't logged into it in ages, but yes.
It's fine. I'm just tagging you.
Okay.
Social media bullshit. All right, let's get going here. We have a live stream of epic proportions.
We have a
for you
concept
guys.
of a stream.
Literally the truth.
That accent was something. Yeah. So today, guys, we're a little bit light on topic. So if you guys have anything you would like us to talk about, we have like one topic. But please suggest things if you think of them. So yes, welcome to the Noise Floor. This is our podcast on our separate channel where we just kind of chill and talk about the stuff that we want to talk about. Obviously, all of this was brought to you guys by headphones.com. They make all of this possible, give us the ability to do a lot of the things we talk about on these streams, as well as actually bring the streams to you at all. So many thanks to headphones.com for allowing this to transpire, or
for tolerating us.
yeah, for allowing us to do this still, because it is something we like to do, and I think it's something that the kind of core of the community really enjoys as well. So happy to be here for you all. Many thanks to headphones.com. And anything else we need to do housekeeping wise?
Yeah, I just want to let folks know that I'm working on trying to sort out the podcast platform thing to make it so that this channel is featured on the Spotify podcast. It's difficult to do because they apparently don't allow you to have multiple channels. So it's a matter of just replacing one for the other. So working on that. It's not ready yet.
And one other thing I wanna touch on the main channel, we've recently started a membership program through YouTube. So if you become a earbud, which is the name of our members, you get access to things like members only streams. Andrew did his first members only stream earlier this week with the ATH ADX 7000 from Audio Technica. It's their new flagship headphone, where it was just him kind of testing the headphone on stream, running it through the paces, and getting to interact a little bit with chat throughout that process. I was there for chat. It was pretty fun. I am the kind of weirdo that really enjoys like the the long form content of just dryly sitting there recounting your opinions of listening to headphones, the music you're familiar with. But I think there's a lot of people like that in our community. So if you're one of those people, definitely consider signing up for the membership. I know Alex, who's in chat, was there. And actually, Alex, thank you for the tip right there. So I actually did mention in the description of the video that we have forum threads that are, well, at least two of us do. Cameron's is going up, I think, today or something like that. Andrew and I have both made our own individual threads on our headphones.com forum, which are going to be kind of a hub for us to do something, I don't know, whatever we want to do. So if it's like impressions of gear or questions that we have for other people or just topics of discussion we want,
it's just abuse.
Talk about it's just a little homepage for us on our forum. Something that I feel like was lacking prior. So if anyone wants to interact with us directly and kind of have maybe a longer form discussion, check out our forum threads, which are linked in the description to do that. I've been posting a few impressions of IEMs and the new Moondrop old fashioned.
Oh my god. Can we talk about that for a bit? Oh.
I have that right here. But yeah, that's where I'm going to be posting a lot of impressions of things that aren't like necessarily worthy of giving a full review to, but that I still want people to know my thoughts on. So if you want to see that kind of content, definitely check out my forum thread. And if you want to see Andrew, I don't know if you're going to be doing much impressions there, or if you're kind of
Well, it'll
having it be
probably
a
be
hub for
impressions.
discussion.
I would have loved it to be more just like, theoretical discussion, because the thing is, I get sucked into these theoretical discussions in so many different places on the internet, and I make the mistake of just continuing to participate there because I just find it interesting. But I was sort of hopeful that forum thread would become kind of like a hub for that. But that's maybe naive of me. So yeah, it'll probably end up being impressions of things and EQ profiles and whatever else.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Are you okay?
I like. I don't want to say pulled something, but like I don't have great shoulders as it is, and
A
I haven't
headphone related
stretched this
injury.
morning. No, I usually do stretch in the mornings, but I didn't
Okay.
stretch this morning because I like woke up, brushed my teeth, and then
Okay.
dived right into that meeting we had before this. So
Okay. All right. Yeah. Should we do you want to start with doing a brief impressions overview of the of stuff,
yeah,
and then
please,
get
please.
into our headline topic here, which is we do have a headline topic today, don't we?
Yeah, I mean it's not like a graphic or anything that I have on the screen because we basically thought of it 2 seconds ago.
Yes.
But it's a good topic, and I do want to talk about it.
Okay. By the way, did you hit Stream Gang?
I did.
Okay, excellent. Hello, Stream Gang. All right. Yeah. So start with the ADX 7000. Right here. I'll have a video coming out about this probably tomorrow to kind of go through the nuances and all that stuff. But the gist of it is that I don't really like it. And like, okay, I should back up. The fun thing about this is specifically what I don't like is the pad that measures better. I like the pad that measures weirder, and it's because to me, I notice the dips more than I notice the peaks. This has a bunch of peaks and dips and stuff like that in the treble, and with this headphone, the dips are what bother me. And it sounds, for some music it sounds fine, but then I hear the problems with percussion timbre quite a bit, and which is usually the result of peaks in the treble, particularly low treble peaks, and being emphasized over the rest of the upper treble and the mid treble. And then when listening to busier stuff, it just sounds like this kind of woolly, muddy mess. Quite frankly, it sounds like there's a blanket put over the sound that with some holes in it to let in some peaks. So not a fan of this in the velvet pad condition. With the Alcantara pads, which is the second set of pads that it comes with that I have here somewhere, I liked it quite a bit better. Then it sort of sounded like a dynamic driver, that headphone that's like more like a planar. And so it's brighter, more W-shaped, but somehow I just find that works better for my head. Like it evens out the treble a little bit and brings forward some of the mid-range tones to balance out the emphasized mid and upper bass bloom that it otherwise has. So we were just actually debating this before the stream. I think Griffin found this one to be mid at worst. I find this one to be mid at best, and that's where the intersection is going to be.
Yeah. Which I feel like is telling of headphones in general.
Yeah.
I think there are very few times that we agree something is like outright good.
Yeah.
Just the way we hear, I think, is quite different. Our anatomy is quite different. I'm still kind of under the impression that the size of your head may be doing something.
I mean, it's always doing something.
No, just like how warm it seems you think the velvet pads are.
Well, to be clear, I don't think they're warm. It's just it sounds stifled
muffled.
and congested because of the just because of the low mid bass kind of focus that it has, the low mid upper bass.
If only there were a
bloom,
way to show
the
exactly
mud
how it was behaving on our
Yeah,
heads.
if only. Well, so interestingly, when I was doing my tone gen sweep, so trying to figure out like those things, how the sound is propagating for me, if there are any major peaks and stuff like that, they all kind of lined up with how things measured on the 5128.
Yeah.
Almost like exactly, except in a couple of spots it was a little bit like shifted, but like there'd be a peak there, and for me it would be like Like say there's a peak that measured on the 5128 at like I'm making this up right now, like 7K, that would be closer to 6K or something like that. Or if there was one that showed up at like 8 or 9K, it would be like shifted down a little bit. But other than that, it was like pretty much bang on for where the peaks and dips were for this headphone. So maybe it's like an amplitude thing overall.
Well, I think with this headphone design, a lot of it is like the modal response in the treble is exacerbated by how perfectly circular the headphone is.
So you know what I noticed that was interesting. I mean, like this might not be anything, but I couldn't help but notice when I was comparing the pad measurement data on the 5128 versus the pad measurement comparison on the Gross, the pads seem to have peaks. Like it seemed to be a little bit more different on the Gross between the two pads than it was on the 5128. So like if you looked at the data for the 5128, it's like the peaks and dips for both sets of pads are in the same spots. It's just that there's more treble for the Alcantara pads. Which, let me know what you think about this. But do you think this is like because of the acoustic impedance differences that get imparted by? I wouldn't have imagined that would be that dramatic for just a pad change, right? Because like it's not like the baffle structure changes when you change the pads, but maybe there is something to this, that the pad material for the Alcantara pads is like because it's less porous or something like that, you know.
That's
Maybe.
kind of the issue with treble as evaluated on rigs with different acoustic impedances. It's that we don't really know above 2-3 kilohertz if something is purely geometrical, purely impedance based, or some weird mix of the two.
Because like, but that's why it's like it's interesting to me that it's like in exactly the same spots for the peaks and dips, just brighter, just more, right? And then on the Gross, it's showing differences, but that could also be down to like the clamp pressure differences and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know. It just sort of struck me as interesting that it would show that kind of behavior. But yeah, I also would be very curious how this one's doing on my own head.
Yeah, maybe eventually we'll sort something out for that.
Yep.
Acoustic impedance mentioned, half the viewers gone. So true.
Instant yeet.
Yeah. So I mean, if you guys want to see more impressions like what Andrew did on the live stream for members only, it was really fun to watch him I guess ruminate, for lack of a better term, on why the worst measuring pad sounded better to him. It was very fun to make fun of him in chat. So
yeah, that was
definitely if you like doing that, like I do, definitely sign up for a membership.
Yeah, this is the opportunity. This was Griffin's opportunity to call me a weeb because I liked the tuning that's more weeb like.
Yep. Not that I have any shortage of opportunities in our day-to-day life.
But like it's funny because it wasn't the differences for me were not just there's more treble and more mids and because it were the W shape thing, right? It's like no, it's just a very different presentation for the treble despite them measuring very similarly. So
Mark says more like acoustic impedance.
Exactly. Yeah. That headphone has no business being over 3K. I completely agree. I would not spend $200 on it. Maybe for the Alcantara pads.
I think the issue with that headphone is that Audio Technica figured out people like bass too late. Like, well, like I do think for that kind of presentation where it's like very open and spaciousness, but there's also like a palpable bassiness to it. I just think Philphone is probably the better value option for most people.
I think Philphone hits harder than this. It's just a vibe space
absolutely
thing.
Yeah, no, it is more texture, it hits harder, it's more colored, but you know, for that kind of visceral yet spacious yet bass forward presentation that I think the ADX 7K does still kind of do, the Philphone is just a more vivid version of that for a lot less money.
Yeah.
So
anyway, that's what I think about that.
Audio with Argus says, can long hair save any bad sounding headphones?
Ooh.
I'm trying to think of headphones that have too much like sub bass or bass.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, there's got to be some. Like, it's not actually a silly question.
Can glasses save bad headphones? Maybe.
Oh. I don't
Yeah,
see. That's the
built-in
thing, though.
bass
Like,
volume mod.
I feel like when a headphone is too bassy, that's not the only issue the headphone has.
That's
Like,
also
I've
fair.
never encountered a headphone where the bass is the only problem.
There's some IEMs, but then obviously hair's not going to sort that.
Yeah.
Not unless you really try.
Yeah, you gotta you gotta weasel it in
Work
there.
it
But
in
yeah.
there.
Just very carefully. All right. Do you want to do Moondrop, whatever the shitty on-ear thing is?
Yeah, real quick though, I just want to Shane. I see you're looking for the best true wireless in-ear under $200, and most of them suck. Apple AirPods Pro 2, especially since they're on sale right now. If your local country has them in supply anywhere, get those, because that is the answer to your question. So yeah, I
Not the
have
new ones, the twos.
the threes are okay. The twos are better. Yeah. I really think the main thing is that the twos are going to be maybe a little bit less opinionated in terms of their fit. They're a little bit more all-rounder. They're shallow insert instead of deep insert. But yeah, okay. So this is the Moondrop Old Fashioned. It is a $25 on-ear 40 millimeter dynamic driver headphone from Moondrop, and it's honestly a very interesting headphone. Like, Mark Ryan has a review of this, which you guys should all go watch, because I feel like his takeaway right out of the gate is, I think, probably the right takeaway, which is that Moondrop has had a lot of weird products where they do a lot of what he calls curveballs, and basically they always end up bad. This is the first one where it's ended up like totally reasonable and like slots in very neatly into the market I think they were trying to target, and represent what is probably the most well-rounded option for the money. I haven't heard all of the cost designs. I've mostly heard the KSE 75, KPH 30, and Porta Pro. And this is less warm than the KPH 30 and Porta Pro because it has less bass, but it's warmer than the KSE 75 because it has less treble. And the pads themselves are seemingly more similar to like the Yaxi pad. So if you're one of those people that likes to mod the cost design for the Yaxi pad, this kind of already has that going for it. But it's a nice, if slightly dark and muffled and bass rolled presentation. Reasonably comfortable because the drivers are larger. It actually distributes more across my pinna than in kind of the center spot, like the Porta Pro and the KSC do. Obviously, it comes with a headband, unlike the KSC 75. So if you're one of the people who likes to mod the KSC 75 with a headband, you can just buy this and it'll have that already. The most interesting thing to me about this product is that it has the removable cable, which is, I think, one of the best mods you can do for the cost designs, but one of the most prohibitive in terms of work that needs to be done or cost to send it to another person to do it. The fact that it comes with that stock is great. Unfortunately, the like clip system for the headband is different from the cost design. So if you wanted to put this on ear clips like the KSC 75s, you can't. They are eventually going to make an ear clip system for this. It's just not out yet. You could also probably 3D print something. But the sound quality is like decent. It's what you'd expect. It's basslit. It's a little bit muffled in the low treble. And
You don't say. I was going to ask,
quite positionally variant, of course.
does the sound does it line up with the measurements? Like, would you say there are key differences, or is it pretty similar?
I would say with the measurements Mark and I have done, both of our rigs tend to like underestimate that 5 kilohertz and 10 kilohertz region relative to the DF response.
Right. Well, I'm thinking specifically because of the shore hardness of those pin A versus.
I don't think that's the issue, actually. Okay. I think the issue is more to do with like clone couplers.
Yeah, fair.
But measurements aside, this is something I can totally vibe with. Like, I can just put this on and listen, much like the Porta Pro or the KSC 75 once it's on a headband. So for $25 with a like frankly better cable than the cost stuff, even though it's not ideal for me, and a removable cable at that with a simple 2-pin connection, so any nice IEM cables you have sitting around, you could just use that with this instead. And most people buying a Moondrop product probably already have other IEMs with maybe nicer cables than this. So I think for $25, it's very hard to argue with this. Mark gave it 4 stars. I would co-sign that rating. Won't say
4
it sounds
stars
for $25. It's pretty tough to beat in terms of sound quality for an over-ear headphone.
Clearly, you guys are price biased. in reverse.
It's not price bias. You just have a disproportionate hatred of on-ear headphones.
Yes,
And
as
dark
everyone should.
headphones.
Um, the reason I asked about the measurement, or if it sounds kind of like the measurement, is because it looks like it would be dark and shouty, right? Like trying to catch me dark and shouty.
I wouldn't say it's shouty.
Okay.
I would say it's dark.
Okay.
At least on my head when it's like placed properly.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, no, I saw the measurement of that. I was like, there is no scenario where I'm gonna like this.
I mean, there's no scenario where you're gonna like it anyway, just because
That's true. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and I have my pinna is particularly flaccid, which is a thing you could probably clip.
We got that shot?
Yeah. Cameron, were you there? Maybe you were there for this. There was a moment in CanJam New York, either this past year or the year before, where I think DMS, you, me, and maybe somebody else were just sitting there like feeling each other's ears. There was like a circle of ear of
this is more flexible there. That's,
It's just, if anyone's seen that, just like what is happening.
Yeah, because we were like making sort of potential sort of ears for rigs and stuff, looking at doing some experimental stuff.
I think Andrew Lissamore showed up there.
Sort of slightly softer than intended, even though it was using the right silicon. So we're like, "Is this right? Hang on, let me just feel it."
That was this year at New York.
That was this year, yeah. And I think Andrew Lissamore walked up and was like, "What the fuck are you guys doing?
What the hell are you guys doing?"
But it's true.
I think this was at the restaurant above CanJam. We were like all sitting at the table because this was
Was it? No, I thought it was show floor. I remember it being on the show floor. Yeah,
might have happened again. But
no, I guess I was thinking of when everyone was first arriving to the show, because I remember you had a toy with you, Cameron, that we won't talk about here, but it was something that your mom made. But we were, I think, testing that versus actual ears.
Yeah, and it's true that for some of us, our ears are more flaccid and compliant than others, and for mine, they're particularly flaccid, and therefore on-ear headphones just completely crush the ear, whereas for others it would just probably stay, it wouldn't have as much of an effect. Anyway, Viagra for ears. maybe I need to take that before I can enjoy on-ears.
Maybe.
Your ear will stiff.
Natural ear enhancement.
Cameron, have you heard anything recently? I know you just did that review of like the SP4000, which, by the way, great job getting the measurements done on that. I know that's not an easy thing to measure.
Yeah, that thing was a pain to measure. I mean, it's just annoying when stuff behaves slightly differently depending on how you're using it. New stuff. I haven't actually, because I've mostly been working on a couple educational pieces, so I haven't had a ton of new stuff in. No, I think is the answer.
Got it.
By the way, can you guys hear there's a truck backing up here? Can you hear that through here? No, you're okay.
Nope.
All right, we're good. Shall we move on to the topic at hand?
I would say let's move on to the topic. There's one more thing I want to give impressions of, but I want to do it later.
Okay.
Well, I can give a brief impression on something if I can find it. 1 second.
Go for it.
I can also give impressions of Moondrop Edge with the updated firmware. Honestly,
that's something we need to talk about.
We need to do a video on that.
That is a very important product.
Yeah, it's a they fixed it moment.
Rare.
Oh,
are those the Wi-Fi ones?
The Wi-Fi ones.
Okay, wait.
My brief impression is I can't get them working. There we go.
Good impression.
Nice.
Hopefully soon, but I don't know what they sound like yet, because the build on them is actually kind of sick, not gonna lie.
Are they like much heavier? I assume so.
Yeah, they're quite. I mean, the AG1000 sort of like a champagne color. They're a little bit heavier, but not in the like, just annoyingly heavy. But I mean, I don't know how well you can see here. Just the way that the headband is built and constructed on the top and stuff is way nicer. It just feels much more solid. The grill and everything looks better.
Yeah, it's a thick.
So why is it the audiophiles get the shaft, and then the people who are like, I want a wireless headphone.
Face. Someone please click that.
Phrasing.
Gonna use that for an emote in our members only chat.
That's right. Our only members. All right. Let's move on to the
Only
topic
can.
at hand. Unless you want Moondrop Edge firmware update
We
impressions.
can talk about that a little later. I feel like just all impressions at the beginning is
Yeah. All right.
front
All right.
loading.
All right. So how did you phrase the topic?
You phrased it.
I know, but how did you phrase it?
I didn't phrase it. I didn't
Oh, you
write
didn't
it down
phrase it.
anywhere. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we commonly get. I should put this. There are certain things that we feel compelled to respond to when it is either incorrect information or misconception that we come across online in the discourse, in the community, at various forums, Reddit, whatever. And so I thought it'd be interesting to kind of like, if we could just like, remove one of the things that we have to commonly respond to, what would that thing be? Because we find ourselves, saying the same thing over and over and over again. So what would the self-serving community discourse improvement be so that you wouldn't have to find yourself into the weeds in the trenches as much?
I think one big one for me is people buying or looking for amps that have orders of magnitude more power than they will ever possibly need. People vastly overestimate how much power most headphones have to drive. And then in the couple instances where, like with the Modhouse Tungsten, where it is genuinely one that you need to be a little bit more picky about the amp you use because they are hard to drive, they're not looking for the right thing. They're just looking for like more watts at 32 ohm, even though actually a 10 watt at 32 ohm amp will drive the Tungsten exactly the same as most 6 watt amps because it's a voltage limit. Mm-hmm. Trying to kind of hammer home you want, like my main amp, the HM1 is like 3.5 watts. It's not crazy powerful, but it's ridiculously good at the levels that you are actually outputting to your headphones. Whereas there's some amps which will do 15 watts, but then are distorting tons by the time you're outputting 1 or 2. And so, yeah, people chase power and amplifiers a lot to their own detriment. And then it also just causes manufacturers to focus on the wrong stuff rather than making better products. So that's a big one for me.
Well, actually, maybe Griffin, do you want to go first? Because I have several. I don't want to.
You're only allowed to pick one.
Well, just one.
You said the rules.
Okay. Well, okay. There is like the most, the thing that I find myself arguing in the trenches on the most, and it is definitely the tonal technical dichotomy issues, because so commonly you'll want to be putting out information on how even things like inoculating people against erroneous reads of frequency response data, right? Just something as simple as that has nothing to do with the technicalities stuff, right, that people talk about. But what I inevitably find myself in is these debates in the trenches where people say none of this matters because what really matters is things like soundstage dynamics, blah blah blah. I'm like, no, what I want to like regardless of what you feel about that, like what we're talking about here is frequency response. And then because people have such an inability to connect the dots based on their assumptions about this stuff, or maybe they've spent time reading the wrong information or whatever, anything that I'm saying doesn't land, right? I may as well just be not talking to them at all. And I find that these conversations always go in the same direction. They take the same format, which is it starts off with somebody saying, oh, but frequency response isn't all there is to it. Tonality is just tonality, some sort of like dismissal of tonality, a elevation or a preservation of some sort of particular technicality that the community has engendered within this person, whether it's soundstage or dynamics or resolution or whatever else, to then coming to some sort of conclusive understanding of where their gap is, which is usually frequency response in situ differences and acoustic impedance differences, explaining all of that to them, and then coming to the outcome of, oh, okay, well, maybe there is something to this frequency response relationship bit after all, right? So like if you actually go through these conversations to their conclusion, they almost always take that same form, right? Where people don't realize that you've been in their shoes. You've been right where they were, right? Then it gets to the practical potential, the practical outcomes or implications of this, which is along what?
Blaine's trying to get into the ping.
Oh, it doesn't show up for me. He has not requested yet.
Oh, okay.
It's not showing up for me, dude.
Sorry.
I forget what I was saying. Oh yeah. So then it gets to the practical aspects of this, right? So practically, people want to know, how is the soundstage, how is the dynamics, how is all the things that they've built themselves up to understand, right, or learn to understand. And then you have to give, I found myself at least having to give my rationale for why I talk about this stuff in terms of in ways that don't treat these things as separate acoustical layers, right? And it's just because of an overabundance of caution. Oh,
Let
there we
Mr.
go.
Blaine in.
He's here now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Can I get a new ping embed?
Yeah, I'll send it here. 1 second.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh,
My buddy.
Look at all that science stuff behind the man.
wow, you've really upgraded. You've come up in the world.
Yeah, he's got RGB now.
Yeah. Okay. Why can't I? Oh, you're mad economist. There we go.
Hello.
Where my embed?
Yeah, sending it.
The people need to see Blaine. There he is.
Wait, it's the same embed. I just edited it. It
Oh
should.
wait, no. Okay, no, they see him. He's there.
Why did
Excellent.
GoldenSound not disappear?
I think
He's
Oh, okay.
Okay.
he's blurring up his background
Well, before I
and muting himself.
before I forget, I would like to actually answer
would
the
help.
question, because I think
Yeah.
Andrew, your answer actually changed my mind a little bit.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
what I was actually thinking about is the question that I answer the most often, or the correction I make the most often. And to fix that, it would be making all clone couplers equally viable. Like, I feel like the disclaimer I often have to
Oh, I see. So if
duplicate as far as
you were to make them
expectation for
equally,
people looking at
Got it.
measurements erroneously is that
Yep.
people just assume all of this data is comparable when it's
That's a good answer. Yeah.
often not. But I think the one I actually spend the most time explaining is the discussion you're talking about, where if I want to tell one person why they are over indexing for something that is found in the frequency response that they don't know how to find, and showing them that thing exactly,
Yeah.
that takes a lot of
But
discussion and like
you
conversation
when you
to
do
get
it,
to.
like when you actually run a person through this, I often find that like there is a
I have a
positive outcome.
100% success rate.
Yeah.
It's just most people don't know
yeah.
that.
Exactly.
I at CanGem SoCal, because we stayed in like a house with a bunch of friends and stuff, and I did sort of just a brief experiment where we just did some sort of simple EQ things to kind of demonstrate some of this. One of them just being like the soundstage dip, just A being more or less 2 kilohertz, and people going like, oh yeah, fuck, it sounds bigger. What? It's like the detail aspect is a little bit harder to kind
Probably
of
not just a 2 kilohertz dip, but that definitely is a contributing factor.
It
No,
definitely.
but the point was just to show that something as simple as that can significantly contribute to it.
Yeah, it's like you just need to demonstrate some change in that technicalities domain that they're perceiving, and then that's all you need to do to get it off the ground, right?
Blaine, did you heard the question? Do you have an answer to it?
No, I
I
was
think
busy setting up my lights.
Oh, so the question is based on all the various different community trenches that you find yourself getting into battles, getting into fights in. If there's one particular topic that you could just solve, like across the board for everybody, or like remove from feeling compelled to have to get into the trenches about, what would that topic be?
That's a quite interesting question. Can I have a second to think about how I'd phrase that?
Sure. Can you think about it while also answering how you've been?
Life is suffering. I wish for death on a daily basis.
Oh,
such
nice.
Is life.
Nice. Yeah. Well, you and me both.
Woke up today and was like, not today, old friends. But
Yeah.
actually, that's probably too old for Cameron. That's a Simpsons reference, Cameron. I know that's before your time.
The Simpsons.
That young.
I'm not 12.
Yeah. The Simpsons was
I
still...
think that episode aired when you were literally 3. So,
Yeah.
but no, I mean, I've been surviving. That's about as much as one can expect these days. Without getting political at all, the current upheaval in trade has been a real pain in my butt.
I can imagine.
You would not believe the bills that I have been getting on customs stuff lately. Or
Yeah.
perhaps you would. They suck.
We probably would, unfortunately.
I've not been
I
getting
guess
those
you
bills
guys are in the
conveniently.
same bit.
Just move up here. The island awaits, you know.
Would that it were so easy. I mean, you know, I don't know. Am I spilling lore? Douglas has been trying to do that and having trouble because
I
the
know.
Canadians are racist.
That's right. Yeah. They don't want none of that Douglas in there.
Yep, it's fucked up.
Yeah. He's
Right.
having trouble.
I mean, to be fair, aren't we all always having trouble?
Yeah.
No, I think that for me, the biggest thing that would really, I mean, this is a resolve ass answer, and I feel bad, but like,
You should.
it would probably be, it would probably be some basic questions of epistemology. A lot of people seem
Really?
to treat knowledge in audio as something that is really kind of a primitive take on what is to know, and it causes the big fights because people will be like, we have evidence of X, therefore not Y. Or if you say that there's evidence of Z, you are saying not Y, when in fact, neither of those are valid inferences.
Yeah.
Like, people at a basic level have a fallacious, and this is on both sides of the street. The people who are very skeptical, and I count myself in that camp, have a tendency to generalize this specific thing was disproven and the effect of placebo has been proven into the effect that you are suggesting has been disproven even when there's no actual empirical testing of it. On the flip side, people on the other side seem to respond to, here is some empirical testing of an effect with, oh, I bet you don't even believe headphones sound different, do you?
See, that's a very zoomed out kind of supervening answer on the question. I thought you were going to go in the direction of the very common, why don't you show time domain stuff, you know, waterfall plot, CSD.
I feel fairly content that I've killed the time domain.
Oh my god.
Well, you've Svengali'd your way into the you've demonstrated the minimum phase stuff to the people who are sort of the big communicative players in the audiophile space. So basically you're having us do your work for you in this regard, so you can take it off.
That is my goal. Yes. That leaves me more time to work on my lighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I do need feedback on this lighting. I literally just threw lights in random places, and
it looks good. I think that it depends. I mean, if you're looking for something that goes that's meant to contrast with the skin tones, I think you could go with a less purple shade of blue, or a less reddish shade of purple. I don't know if that.
Oh, for the background color.
Yeah, but otherwise, I think it's fine.
What about the hair light?
It's not that it's not that visible. I think you could go more intense on the hair light.
Let's see.
The other thing with
trying to learn.
Is this for YouTube?
This is for your mom, actually. She requested it specifically.
Yeah, she does.
I feel like this is peak gamer, where he has like a fixation on getting the lights right, but the cables are an absolute mess.
Oh no, that's because I was actually working. I actually have a thought about that, and I may accidentally create like the new product that revolutionizes my personal wealth, but that's a separate issue.
Oh, you just got much brighter.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
The other issue with the like overgeneralization thing is that there's also a bit of a problem where you talk about a thing and then people go like, assume that is the only thing that you care about, or that you think that is more of a thing than anything else. Like you mentioned something about a headphone, or you mentioned that, like, I like this amp or whatever. And they're like, well, you should be buying headphones. I mean, that's the thing for me, is like, I talk about DACs and amps. You should be spending more money on your headphones. Like the headphones make orders and orders of magnitude more difference. Yeah, like, just, you can say one thing. I like hamburgers. That doesn't mean that I don't think hot dogs aren't delicious.
What's that archaeological ass Tumblr post from like 2009, which is like, this is the only website on earth where if you say I like peanut butter, someone will say, oh, really? You hate jelly then? You want to kill everyone who likes jelly then?
That's how it goes, man. That's I don't think that's uniquely in this space. It's a common, fallacy for a reason, right?
That's
but
just the internet.
And
it must
but
be
we do
destroyed.
see it. We do see it commonly in this space, right? And I think in many ways those discussions aren't analyzed in terms of the absurdity of that, fallaciousness that you just sort of elucidated here. So yeah, I think it's a good take. It probably would remove a lot of the issues, a lot of the discussions.
Yeah, I feel like it does go closer to the root than probably most of the things we've mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to do something that was more zoomed in, I mean, like, even the next level is still kind of meta, but I'd kind of just try to nuke passion for sound by saying that people couldn't do this weird obscurantism thing where it's like, because there's an open question, we can never know anything.
What is it with
what
everybody
if the
being
snakes
like
do oil things?
No one has confirmed that snakes cannot oil
okay.
things.
But in a way, this is the same bit that the skeptic does, just with worse reasoning.
Yeah, I mean, the argument of in the absence of evidence you shouldn't assert something, and the argument of in the absence of countervening evidence you shouldn't assert something are not at the same level of quality.
No. But you end up in a similar spot. But to your earlier point there, I've noticed this thing as well, where there's this sort of I'm not a reviewer bit going around where people are trying to remove.
No, with him specifically, that is.
Well, him specifically,
that's just
but he wasn't the only one to do this. There were a few others that did this as well. Yeah, I forget who, but it was like a series of things. Not, yeah. Anyways, I feel like that's just trying to make what you're doing somehow stand out. Yeah, trying to specialify your thing.
I don't know.
It reminds me of a
very.
Sorry.
I perceive it more as a move to. Oh, jeez. Okay?
Well, you're removing yourself from the kind of criticism that would get leveled at that other class of subhuman ilk.
You're trying to have your cake and eat it too. You get the authority of like a reviewer type content person, but you don't have to be beholden to the journalistic rubric of ethics or whatever you want to call it.
That's right. I'm gonna give opinions that other people are gonna make purchase decisions around, but I'm gonna inoculate myself against the fact that it's just vibes, man.
Yeah, it's like that character in the Big Short who's the CDO manager who's like, I assume no responsibility for these products.
That movie is
strictly. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't actually his fault. It was the rating agency's fault, but nobody wants to talk about that.
True, but in this case, there's no standards board for audio quality commentary.
There isn't really one for the rating agencies either. They got away scot fucking free. Anyway, Andrew, I sent you an ancient
target curve B.
What was that?
Sorry, Big Short.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
So this reminded me of something that's fucking ancient, but long ago, someone like a director responded to criticism of his film by saying that it wasn't for critics. And every single time I think of the fucking, I'm not a reviewer, don't treat my things as reviews. And it's like, okay, I'll guess I'll just treat them as long form video content then. And it's shit.
I'm not a reviewer. I'm just reviewing this.
Yeah.
I'm not a reviewer and thus cannot be expected to review things. But I'm also not, I'm just someone who you should trust as a person who's knowledgeable.
Well,
but I don't want to assume any intellectual responsibility.
You know what though? It's a shame because if you can tell that I mean, in this case we're talking about passion for sound, but you can tell that this is somebody who is able to do the investigative stuff and communicate it very well, like in the sort of perspective on the AirPods Pro 3. Where it's like if you took that kind of approach to understanding this stuff and communicating it for other things, it would be well received, I think. It would be something that, wouldn't prompt this sort of critique.
I don't know. The thing is, with that video in particular, it was like the spirit with which he entered the conversation was not necessarily productive. That little bit of data you're pointing to
there were nuggets of gold
represent probably the best content I've seen from him.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like it was only allowed to be that because it wasn't in a video about a product that is I guess prone to whatever audiophile bullshit people usually bring to stuff like that. Like people are going to take a video about that product differently than they would an audiophile headphone and come to it with different expectations. And
so I guess my point is, why not take that approach to the audiophile? What?
What'd you say?
I think it's sort of a stopped clock effect.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think there's evidence of possibility there that could be taken into the audiophile domain. It's just a willful choice not to.
Yeah,
and that's a shame. What Mark Ryan says, adding to the epistemics, and similar to something Andrew said before, the "I've been where you are now" before gets at an important communication challenge. If one person's standard of knowing requires being able to see what they're hearing, and the others aspires to know without also seeing, reconciling that delta would improve a lot of conversations.
Well, also people just don't really know what "no" means. Like that's sort of the core problem, is that people have not actually.
That's what you think. I'm objectively perceiving reality.
I mean, there is that. But other than Griffin, there are very few people who are objectively perceiving reality.
Can you guys hear the truck?
Given that power by Ayn Rand.
You guys can't hear the truck?
Can
anybody hear the truck?
No.
Okay, somebody says, I live next to a truck stop. Yeah, there's trucks backing up here for some reason.
I do not hear the truck.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so sorry, were we getting into why emotivism is wrong? Or what was the...
No, that's...
Whatever that is, it's not...
Edwin says, what is the most uninviting aspect of the audio community and what causes it, besides what we're just talking about?
Literally us.
The elitism, I think, is probably...
I wish we were the most uninviting part. We're only like... I don't even think we're in the top 5. Have you seen those Reddit? Like, and I know this is just...
You've seen Reddit?
Beating a dead, fetid horse, but like... You do see this on HeadFi as well, where someone will be like, hello, people. I have listened to something and I have an opinion on it. And the immediate response is, well, clearly you're an ignorant fucking moron who has never heard a good thing in your life.
I just came back to...
You didn't like it enough, or because you liked it too much, or because you liked it enough but for the wrong reason. People have some fucking weird cope.
Well, a lot of it is it's easy. I mean, I think so much of this is because of if you imagine yourself in the before times when you were just naively, aspirationally buying headphones, you had a reverence for these devices in certain ways that you probably don't now. And not just the devices, but the brands, that are behind them, the people that are behind them, the stories that you end up reading about them. And when there's a takedown of that, or something that sort of is critical of that, it's a dispelling of the reverence.
I mean, just look at how most threads on HeadFi go. Like, you've got different separate threads of different people with completely contrasting opinions. And if you go into a product thread and say anything that is even slightly negative, people will call you an idiot and find all sorts of reasons as to why your opinion can't be trusted. and then you say the same thing in like a different thread, and they're like, "Oh yeah, everyone who likes that's completely wrong. We're correct here." People get very defensive about either their purchases or products that they are fond of, and I think the most frustrating thing for me, I don't necessarily think this is probably the biggest issue for people sort of newer to it, but well, maybe it is, I don't know. But the biggest frustration for me is it's quite difficult to have a level-headed conversation about a lot of things because people are, in many cases, significantly financially invested in the stuff that they have bought or the things that they like, and aren't necessarily approaching it from a truly reasonable position.
It is something where, though, even amongst us subhuman ilk, the reviewers, we will regularly disagree about things. I mean, I think Griffin, me, TMS, Cameron, like we all have. There are cases where one person loves a headphone, the other person hates it, right? And in my mind, it's like for us, it's not like it doesn't pain me that Griffin likes a thing that I hate or hates a thing that I like or something like that. That's sort of the point. But I could see how that would pain somebody if they were all up on the driver's story, the brand story, the mythology, and had that reverence for that thing that they bought. So
I mean, that's just kind of fucking soy, though. Like, not being able to cope with somebody not liking something that you bought is just. It's literally no, you can't say that my Lamborghini is cope because I couldn't get a Ferrari, even though it is.
Yeah, I'm just saying I can see how that effect takes place for people. But
yeah, I mean, it's kind of just the nature of the world we live in, where people do a little too much become the things that they buy. So it becomes like to some people, it becomes an attack on their person, which, as Blaine would put, is soy. But I understand why it happens. I wouldn't say that's necessarily the most uninviting aspect of the community. I think the most uninviting aspect is hive minds. Just in general, like that is only because it is the safety of the hive mind that I think gives people the license to act the way they do a lot of the time.
Can you give an example?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like Headphones headquarters with this HD 600 and planars and shit like that. Like the way they've treated some people who just like different headphones, like sometimes it's justified because those people are just terrible people, but most of the time it wasn't. And frankly, all of their self-certitude and certainty about their opinions was bullshit anyway. So that's one example. I mean, IEF is a current example where if you do something that is kind of against the safe meta, you will get questioned about it. And, there will be a contingent of people who, are more experienced and probably do have a better idea of their own preferences, but have still way too much confidence in acting a little bit rude to a random person. And, you see this on HeadFi, you see it on ASR where, because people are within the relative safety of a hive mind where they're confident if by posting their certified by the hive mind opinion that they will ratio the other person in
the
terms
brigade
of
will be on their side.
That they just feel comfortable being a bit rude. And yeah, I do think that is unilaterally the least welcoming, most uninviting part of this space is people from their safe, coddled little bubbles feeling like they can be rude to someone for any reason, really, other than the person behaving badly. If the person's behaving badly, you can throw a little snark their way. And
your thing here is it's about the safety in the hive that gives license to the rudeness with which they conduct themselves in, rather than
the confidence and the numbers kind of lead to an
because like you could say you could criticize anybody doing reviews with measurements or talking about measurements as being part of that same hive mind as well, right? It's just that in the
I'm not sure I would extend it to that because there's like in a review, I don't find many occasions to be rude.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like it's specifically the fact that
That's why you're
this
less
kind of
successful
behavior.
than Kryn.
Based.
Yeah, you're not rude enough.
True. But yeah, I'm not sure I would necessarily extend it to like content. It's more of an interpersonal thing that I see going on.
But by the way, I just have to call out Blaine's
is-
take as being excellent here. Headphonesty has been greatly improved by AI.
Yeah, no, it has. Headphonesty is still unrefined dog shit. Like, it is the worst thing in our fucking space. But here's the thing: it's actually much better now than it was when it was handwritten.
That's one thing that does frustrate me is how much. I mean, that's the whole point of it, but how much attention and sharing around the headphonesty stuff gets when, in many cases, it's just like such obviously clickbait nonsense.
In many cases, when is it not clickbait?
I'm
No,
trying to be
that's his business
diplomatic.
model. It's you're trying to not be rude. You're trying to not be.
But no, I feel like that's just calling a spade, though, right? Like, I mean, no one says, man, C-SPAN isn't doing a lot of hard-hitting, long-form investigative journalism. They're supposed to be breaking news. Headphonesty's entire thing is being the National Enquirer of headphones.
Yeah, it's audiophile BuzzFeed, which
I mean, that's honestly not a bad description of it, considering
kind
most,
of harsh on
like
BuzzFeed.
they
I was
had
going to say
well, they had an audiophile writer base, and they all left in 2023. So they replaced them with just
really
writers,
I didn't know
like
that.
people who are not audio people. So like, what are they going to write about other
replace
than
them with AI?
A few real people, but those real people may be using AI. Yeah,
maybe. I mean,
there's
very
a few
clearly
M-dashes
using
in there.
AI.
Yo,
I use M-dashes.
That's what I'm saying. I feel so.
You can take it back. You can reclaim them.
I'll tell you what
want.
the bigger
I'm
giveaway
trying.
for like AI stuff for me is, besides the M-dash thing, because I know people do use that. It's this isn't this, it's X, or it isn't just this, it's that.
Yeah.
I mean, once you notice that, if you just look on like Twitter or something, is riddled with it.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, that's just bad prompting too. Like, my strangely hostile GPT-5 never does that, although it mostly just insults me.
Yeah, Blaine wanted an AI specifically that negs him.
It's truly hostile, but at least it's not bigging me up.
It's yeah. I'm gonna not say certain things.
Archie says, has price equals sound quality become more prevalent in recent months?
As in,
no. Blaine's take is price does equal sound quality, because if you spend more, you pay attention more.
I mean, there is that. I actually think that from a macro scale, price versus sound quality is at something of a nadir. Like, I remember the very old days, and when people were like, there's nothing that compares to the SR009 and the AB1266 because they're the only things that cost over $3,000. And the whole time I was like, I mean, like, does that make it better? Like, it just seems like you've been swayed by the fact that you paid more money.
Yeah, they have been. Of course, they have been.
The 009, I think, is not actually too bad, but like the Abyss obviously is terrible. So.
Yep.
Yeah, that one. Okay, now you're ripping off one of my old bits.
Yep. Well, I mean,
I feel like everyone has done that bit. I feel like claiming ownership of the too many headphones on head.
I've got a sticker of it. So.
Yeah.
Blaine's bit is the comically large hat, or the whatever else he's brought to the.
Yeah, Blaine's bit is cat ears, devil horns, things that would be used in like a Halloween costume on an audiophile stream.
Yeah, or the hat on the.
It's a little shame we never did a St. Patrick's Day stream. I would have gone like entirely offensive.
Hey,
to the
could do a Robbie Burns stream.
Oh man, I am probably good for the brand that we didn't do that in retrospect. Yeah, I mean, I guess as far as like
the St. Patrick's Day streams, just everybody loses their jobs.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm using old fashioned because I wanted to see if I could hear the trucks that Andrew apparently has going on in the background. I
no, I
haven't
closed the
heard
window.
anything.
I closed the window. So
Oh, okay. Well, I'm taking this
Yeah.
off then.
that's if that's not an indictment of on your headphones, I don't know what is.
I mean, it's better to just, shockingly, it's better to just not have anything on your head in terms of comfort. It's
Yeah.
maybe a surprise to some people, but
Yeah.
I mean, the one who's got to be most uncomfortable here is poor Cameron.
yeah, Cameron, definitely.
Wait, why am I most uncomfortable?
That's an Imperio, right?
Yeah, but I got a big head, so.
I also have a big head, but wearing the Imperio makes me miserable.
Oh, can't you bend the headband though?
You can if
Yeah,
you
but
want to.
it has the weird resonance of the diaphragms with the weird occlusion effect.
Yeah, it's the fishbowl. The fishbowl
It
effect.
haunts me.
Have you tried since the driver change a few months? I guess you haven't. Oh, if you're at a can job, you should try the new one. It's got a lot less of that because I know that bothered you before.
That would be a good thing. I think I've cited this on stream before, but someone did tell me that he literally sat down in like your soundproof Cameron GoldenSound edition Imperio booth, put it on, heard that sound, and was like, oh Jesus, did I break it? And then just tried to play it cool the entire time and left quickly.
Oh, that's so funny.
There was a change which was meant to make it work so that meant to make it work better in humid environments because that could be a challenge. But as a side effect of that, that effect is now almost entirely gone. So that's
the change that they're not using Captain anymore or polyamide.
I don't know
because it sounds like polyamide. Which is also why I have consistently refused to use that to my immense suffering. But I just hate that noise.
It's not a material thing because the other thing I don't know if you know is if you turn the bass unit off, it stops doing it. It's not a driver material thing.
Wait, what?
I can tell you why, but I'll have to do it off stream.
Well, I mean, I would understand if it didn't do it with the bass unit off, even if it was a material thing, because then you're changing the electrical damping of the diaphragm. But that's still quite strange.
Mm.
Okay.
Interesting.
I just wanted to note something Oris said, which was very insightful from earlier, which is that have you considered that that listener guy is ruining your content?
So stupid. That's pretty good.
This was a Reddit comment, right?
I don't remember where.
It was YouTube on the I think the best value in headphones video, because that's when we had Arya Stealth as the
right.
The last
that was
headphone
the first
before value goes bye-bye.
revelation.
And, Cameron stated their positive opinion. I stated my negative opinion. Yeah. People do be coping.
Should we look at the discussion posts on the subreddit and see how bad they are? What are the limitations of EQ? That is one that's at the top at the moment.
Oh, I think I commented on that one. I saw
No,
Constantine. I saw Constantine.
You can, in fact, polish a turd.
Oh,
and EQ is a really magical tool that can turn shit into jewels.
Yes. Constantine also commented because somebody said you can't polish a turd, and I didn't see Constantine's response to that. I was responding to it separately. But Constantine's response is also great, which is with enough tools and patience, you can.
That's true. There's carbon in that turd.
If you look further down, somebody replies to Constantine and says, not knowing that it's Constantine, I imagine, and says, I can tell you're an engineer, not just from saying so right there under your username, but also because only an engineer would see someone use an allegorical expression and take that as an opportunity, precise, scientific, and didactic. That or a German.
Oh, damn.
Maybe a Scandinavian or a Finn as well. I had to laugh at that comment.
I like how he also said, you can polish feces if you dry them first. There's a Mythbusters episode on it.
Yeah.
I feel like the real Chad way to polish feces is literally just to make a lab gem out of it, though, because there's enough elements in there you could, and then you could really just rub in how wrong they were.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that no YouTuber that has like access to scientific equipment like that has done that. Like, I feel like that would be a Veritasium video. Like, I don't know.
It sounds like a Nile Red video.
What,
Is
polishing
Nile
turds?
red the silly one, or is Nile blue the silly one?
Oh fuck!
Now
There's like
red's
three
the
Niles.
reasonable one.
Is-
Well, it depends on what you define
Is
as
Nile
silly.
green the one where he made an apple?
Oh shit, I don't know. But yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like actually you can polish turds and make diamonds out of them.
Yeah.
Would be very clickable for a normative
Yeah.
for a normal person.
It's
And
a
the same
shame
as-
that the whole silk purse out of a sow's ear thing fell out of common use, because I'm sure that someone could also do that somehow.
The what?
Yeah, you can actually
You can't
turn
make a silk purse out of a sow's ear.
Oh. Yeah, you can definitely do that.
make it indistinguishable, right? All right. Let's see.
Archie says, "Hey, we Finns aren't that autistic." I'm afraid that you are not correct. I know many Finns. I have a deep affinity for Finland. It's the most autistic place I have ever seen.
Should we do spicy times? Spicy hour?
I have one more product I want to
Okay.
talk about.
Yeah.
So hold on. Let me,
Okay, so there's
grab the other
three
one.
different colors of Nile.
Yeah, there's green, red, and blue. And blue is apparently the batshit parody nuclear one. Nile blue is the goofy one, and Nile red is the serious business one.
See, if they were real serious, then it would be Nile, cyan, maroon, fucking black, and wow, how am I forgetting? Is it just yellow? Yeah, CYMK.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about this one very shortly because I'm not a huge fan. But this is the Prisma Lux.
Oh, right. Wait, what's it called?
This is the Prisma Lux. There are two of them.
Two of them. Okay.
Prisma
called the light.
balls.
They're called the Light Twins. This is the Prisma Lux. This is basically a new meta through the mids with the V shape that we have all come to expect from that approach to tuning. It's fine. It's like the others. It's a little bit too expensive for that sound profile, but this is made by a community member, by a guy named Josh VB, if you're on Discord. But the shells are like very, very small and well constructed and well considered in terms of the venting location. I actually really like where it's placed because it's unlikely to get covered by the ear, regardless of what kind of seating you're going to be using. It's very small. It's like the Symphonium Meteor in terms of its size, and nozzle profiles like that as well, but maybe a little bit longer. Fit on these are fantastic, but I don't really like the sound quality of these. What I do really like is the sound quality of these, which is the Prisma Lumen.
I gotta say, I like the way they look.
This is probably my favorite looking IEM of all
This
time.
is,
I'm not gonna lie.
I love, as much as it's a color, I love the way it looks.
Yeah. So the faceplate design is going to be a little bit different. You can't really see it, but there's actually a glass faceplate in there with some very slight kind of embossing on that. I love how subtle it is. It's going to be similar to that, just with a different instead of being all caps, it's going to be like proper noun capitalization. So capital
so
L.
that's right.
Lumen.
Yeah.
And this is not the stock cable. This is just a Truthier Gate cable, which I chose because I love these cables, but I also really like the color pairing, and I have the coffee tips on it because it is my preferred tip sonically with this IEM, but also it kind of works. It kind of completes the look that it's I feel going for.
Fuck coffee tips.
With this one, I don't think you'll like the coffee tips. I think you'll almost certainly prefer like the stock narrow bore tips. But for me, it took the only issue I had with this IEM, like the only real issue, which was some peakiness around 10K, and just pushed it up high enough that it wasn't a problem for me. And for people who may have paid attention to my impressions of IEMs before, you may notice I said the only issue. This is the best IEM I've ever heard by a embarrassing margin for the rest of the IEM space. I cannot find any real issues with it, provided you get the tip selection right. The bass is not the kind of over sub bassy kind of massive bass you get in most IEMs. It is reasonable. It is slightly emphasized, but the relationship between the mid range is still linear sounding, coherent, all of that good stuff. It reminds me more of like a Soft Ears Volume S in terms of its integration with the mids than I don't know, like a Cranier Daybreak or something like that. It is less warm and kind of stuffy than the Pure, but it is more full than a Hexa, if that helps. The mid-range is probably the best mid-range I've heard in IEMs, being, I think, closer to that HRTFE thing than most of the other things I've encountered. So even things that adhere to the new meta, this is closer than those things to just a reasonable tilt of a diffuse field mid-range. There is maybe a slight, very narrow peak at like 3 kilohertz for me, but it is not a problem at all. Like, it is not something that I ever notice. I only noticed it on a sine sweep. When I'm listening to the music, it just sounds excellent in the mid-range. And the treble is, again, where this thing is just better than basically any IAM I've heard. Well, no, not basically. It's better than every IAM I've heard in the treble. It is more relaxed in the low treble, more controlled in the mid treble. Like, the length mode resonances on this are well accounted for in terms of where they're typically going to fall is in an area of the response that is dipped. So there's not nearly the magnitude of resonance here as I get with other less well damped or less well tuned IEMs. And the treble is fairly customizable with tips. Depending on the bore size you use here, you'll get either a fairly linear transfer between low treble to mid treble to upper treble. Or you'll get what I prefer with a wide bore tip, a little bit of a dip in the mid treble versus the other two. And the upper treble is not forward at all. It's just a neutral IEM across the board with really good comfort in a really attractive shell. I just don't see any problems with it except for the price, which is, it is expensive. It is 1,300 USD. So it is not something that is looking to compete with the, Cranier stuff that is, tuned worse than this, but I think follows a similar kind of methodology, thought process behind it, I guess. But it's important to say that, one, obviously this is a single guy, small company project, but I am not one to usually glaze these products.
So what you're saying is it's a C tier IEM.
No, it is. I think it is probably realistically the first A tier passive IEM I have encountered, because it gets everything reasonably right, with no real compromises I can think of. Like, the reason I don't usually glaze small company things like the Capra Audio stuff or the DMS Omega, even though those are my friends' companies and I have a lot of amity towards those people and those projects, is because, especially when it comes to like fit and feel and the professionalism of the thing when you look at it and hold it, just is never competitive with real big company products. This isn't only competitive, it's one of the best feeling, best looking, most comfortable IEMs I've ever used. So it deserves praise, like, and a lot of it, in my opinion. I don't know if everyone's going to be quite as enthusiastic about the sound quality as I am, because when it comes to the IEM market, I think they just want more spice, more flavor.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how are the technicalities?
It's honestly one of the most technical IEMs I've ever heard. Like, it is because it doesn't sound bad. Surprisingly, the dynamics are excellent. It is probably the most punchy IEM I've ever heard. It is
because
also,
it's not just like tons of sub bass. It just
it's a coherent time transfer function between the areas of the frequency response that are meant to cohere in a single way, but don't get thrown out of balance. So the treble comes first, the mids come next, and then the bass comes after, and it all makes sense. And that, I think, slight forwardness at 3 kilohertz may actually contribute a little bit of extra intensity to me that makes the dynamics hit a little bit harder, like snares crack just a little bit harder, and guitar tones just have this extra texture and viscerality to them that highlights how complex some distorted guitars sound. And it's really appealing, and it's detailed in the way that I like, which is that it's not detailed in the crazy stupid upper treble way, only detailing one part of the music at the expense of everything else. It if I want to peer closely into any part of the music, I can, and all of the texturing and harmonic density is there for me to unpack if I want to. In terms of the spaciousness, it's an IEM, but I do feel like because there are no weird peaks causing the presentation of things to like collapse towards the center or have a weird front to back imbalance, the imaging and separation and sound staging is just as good as I could expect for an IEM. So I don't really have any negatives to relay to people about this product. It's the first unilaterally good thing I've experienced, maybe in headphones too. Because like when I think about the headphones that I have ranked really highly, they still have compromises that are like, you know, I think even to me, kind of deal breakers that I wouldn't use them all the time. Like even my like daily driver, the Edition XV, like the mid-range is kind of weird, and the treble still isn't perfect, and the bass relationship to everything else still isn't, you know, ideal for me. This thing is like an 8 across the board in all things at minimum. Like the mid-range is probably a 9. Like the treble is probably still an 8, and the bass is probably still an 8. But the technicality, detail, dynamic stuff is probably a 9 for me with this. And the comfort for me is also like a 9 with this, as far as passive IEMs go. So yeah, you know, if you want the spicier thing, he does have this one. Like it's the exact same shell and everything. It's just the more flavored sound profile that I think a lot of IEM people are going to want. But for me, this is, yeah, best IEM I've heard. So I'm excited to, you know, send it to you and hear your thoughts. I'm
very excited to hear it. Yeah.
If you like it less than I do, because I think that the treble balance being altered.
It's just down to the length mode. That's it.
I think so. Yeah. I think you may end up liking Lux more for that, because it has more bass to offset that and more upper treble to offset that. But for me,
send.
It's going to be a second. I need to get confirmation from Josh about something. But so Mark, the 8 out of 10 comes from like it having to average all of these qualities together. But like most IEMs do an 8 out of 10 in one thing if they're lucky.
There's not a single product in the market that I would say gets an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
So that's high praise. So now that Griffin is spent, let's move on to Spicy Hour or Spicy Half Hour.
These are your faults.
What?
What'd you do?
Oh, I've been playing Five Finger Fillet this entire time.
Just simulating the pain that discussing IEMs inflicts on your brain. Physically, I get it.
What is that sound in the background?
That would be my fucking neighbor.
Wow, you live in genuine hell.
Activists, he's
every 2 days at the least, I hear that fucking leaf blower for this long.
Damn. Dude.
Wow. How are the technicalities?
Believe it or not, that's not even the annoying neighbor.
Oh, okay.
Damn, dude. All right. Well.
Okay. Yeah, spicy. Let's go with peppers.
Yeah, hit us up with them peppers, people.
Yeah. Listener has too much hair, so his impressions of over-ear headphones can't be trusted. It's also why he is a baselet who enjoys on-ear headphones. Real audio files.
It's everyone knows this to be true. I am ruining our content.
Yeah. But you would think that you think it'd be like if you're wearing the Aria or something that has like brighter treble peaks, that the amount of hair would do some damping work for you. You know.
I don't leave any hair in the ear cups.
I know, but you could. Natural damping.
Yeah. But Abang, I have a measurement. It just hasn't been posted yet. Yeah, Oris, that makes sense. I think the reason the bass is an 8 is because it still has a little bit much for me, but it's like only a hair right around 120 hertz. Other than that, it's like
baselet confirmed. Fun Haters Club. That's yeah. I saw a quote. I was arguing with somebody in one of our YouTube comments. I can't remember what it was, but they ended it with somewhere deep inside Resolve is a good person. From was quoting Zeus Pantera.
That is
I
such a
was
good
like-
quote.
I was like, wow, I'm not aware that he said that, but it wouldn't shock me, and that's a great quote.
That's really fucking good. Yeah.
Because of
love
the whole Fun Haters Club meme. Mr. Super says Doja Cat is more audiophile than whatever you're listening to. I've been listening to
Thanks.
Blackpink recently, which is also quite audiophile.
Why is that the
Thylacine.
pop music you decide to listen to?
I don't know.
Thylacine's new album is so good.
Oh,
I've been
I
listening to that a lot.
Cameron talking about real audiophile music.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, like so many online audiophiles are K-pop people, and I like it's the same thing with weebs where I have no idea how these people have the preferences they do because the music is so bright, but the transducers they want are also so bright. I've only met one counterexample where they're like firmly a K-pop like J-pop person, but they like darker transducers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've also just got to call out for anyone who I've spoken before. Like my absolute favorite genre of music is electro orchestral stuff, and Camo and Crooked and the Red Bull Symphonic a few months ago did their newest concert in Vienna, and it's phenomenal. It's on YouTube, but it's also the album just came out. Unfortunately, the album recording isn't like the best. It's still very good though, and interestingly, it's like semi-binaural recorded, so it works better on headphones and speakers.
Oh,
But just goddamn, the songs are so good. Go listen to Cientolo on that if you've not heard it. It is fantastic.
so actually, I do want to get back to Mark's take, which is that Doja Cat is more audiophile than whatever you're listening to. I do feel like something that is missed among probably just Andrew and Blaine is that like pop music
The
is
olds.
simultaneously some of the worst produced and some of the best produced music on the planet. Like there are a few Doja Cat songs which are like equal to the best mixes I've ever heard in terms of how good they fucking sound through a good pair of speakers or headphones.
Okay, is there a particular? Can I add an album?
What is the album called for Doja Cat that you're listening to? I think it's like Planet Her or
Okay,
Planet. Yeah, something like that.
All right, I will. I'll add
yeah.
that.
I mean, there's the thing with those kind of artists is like they're not doing the production side of things themselves.
No, of course
And
not.
I-
They have
I went
multiple
down a bit of a-
producers, which is why the quality can be hit or miss even on the same album.
Yeah. But like one thing I've done sometimes is like there's a group called Sterling Sound which does mastering for a lot of sort of major artists, and there's one mastering engineer in particular called Greg Calby, and I just went on like his discography and looked at all the stuff that he's worked on, and there's some like from 21 Pilots and stuff, but like if you just go to any of the pop songs that he's worked on, they are stellar, even if sometimes the other songs in that album aren't necessarily great because he didn't do them. But yeah, just sometimes if you just find a good mastering engineer or just something that's been produced for whoever the artist is, just being pop doesn't mean that it's gonna sound bad.
I highly recommend to everyone, if they have pieces of music that they really, really, really like the sound of, find out who produced it and engineered it and check out their other stuff.
Yeah,
one of
I've done
the best like album exploration experiences I had was going through John Bryan's discography. John Bryan is this producer who he's also a multi-instrumentalist. He works a lot with he worked a lot with like Fiona Apple. And I found this record of his by Dido that has like my favorite drum sound of any record I've ever heard. It's just massive but clean, well damped, but like still huge sounding drums. It's just everything I like out of drums is basically on any record he's ever touched.
So what you're saying is follow Rick Rubin, right?
If you like his approach, like there is a fairly coherent approach across a lot of his music. So if you really like aggressive sounding pop music, you may like most of his music.
No, I'm a fan of Jens Bogren personally for things like guitar sound, and somewhere in the chat someone's gonna know who that is.
I just have to mention two things about Rick Rubin real quick. One is that his Twitter is hilarious because it's all just like inspirational quotes from himself with like images framed nicely and stuff.
That's amazing. Does he run the account, do you think?
I have no idea, but it's just kind of funny that he's posting like his own quotes constantly, and that's the only thing he does. Secondly, he is, I think Resolve can attest to this, he's the fastest man in sandals I've ever seen. We saw him at Munich High End, and he was like, jamming out to stuff, and people trying to speak to him, but he sort of like left the room. He was dressed like he was homeless, which when you've got that much money, why not?
I will say Blaine's pretty fast too.
but
It's
he was
sandals.
wearing
He-
just like
he can move.
flip-flops, and damn, that man can move.
My cat has left.
Yeah, but the
My baby.
but the whistling banshee of a leaf blower has persisted. Okay, let's keep going, guys. We need some peppers. Some peppers. Let's go.
Faye says narrow bores are better because they cut air and air sucks. They don't always cut air, and they often introduce their own problems in the lower treble and mid treble. I am not a narrow bore person when I don't have to be. They do have the low passing effect, which, if that's the only problem an IEM has, like I have that issue with the soft ears volume S. It's like the main issue with the treble there. Narrow bores do help, but
at the risk of Blaine losing more fingers, let's move on to the next one. K-pop has some of the worst mastered songs I've heard.
Yeah, it can get pretty bad.
What about I don't know what to classify.
Bro has literally never listened to heavy metal.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
I
metal.
have absolutely. Like, I've listened to black metal music. Like, I am aware of how bad it can get.
Hey,
It's
you
some
just
K-pop
did.
music is even worse than that
Listen.
in terms of how harsh it is.
Blaine, you just did the fallacy, or one of the fallacies that you've been railing against this whole time. Just because K-pop is often bad doesn't mean that there isn't something worse.
The thing is, literally said one of the worst things I've ever heard. And I was like, if the top 10 are not metal, you have not listened to that much metal.
It's fair. I agree with you.
I would say there's more harsh noise and like shoegaze records that sound, and like just punk music in general that sound worse. Okay, these are not genres.
Punk is also dog shit,
frankly. Like,
but that's intentional,
right? But I'm just saying, in terms of like a top 10 of like worst I've ever heard, I've heard enough that it's not just metal.
How do you feel about Death Magnetic?
How do you feel about Merzbow?
Sun O?
Okay. I mean, these are three things that I have different opinions of. Death Magnetic, like, I feel like it gets overhated for its sound quality. Actually, it doesn't sound good, but it's not like it's not one of the worst sounding records of all time. With Merzbow, the sounding bad is like fairly intentional. I think it is part of the mission there, and so it feels weird to say it sounds bad if that was the goal.
Do you have thoughts on Burza?
Yeah, so that when I'm talking about like black metal that sounds terrible, that's a great example.
Yeah.
But and then what was the other one? Sun O. It depends. It depends what Sun O music you're listening to, because some of it is quite harsh, but some of it is rather just drony stuff.
Yeah.
So
all right, let's
Bright for Weebs is like pouring sugar on their cake. They want nothing but sweet. I like that.
If you want to grow your audience,
it is a strange tendency.
Ishka says if you want to grow your audience, you need to do feet unboxings. It's probably true.
Jesus Christ.
Probably
that reference. Yeah. Do people remember that? Blaine!
Oh, no, why would...
our live stream content does
it's getting clipped, isn't it?
It speaks to the niche of the niche, but there are moments in these live streams that really should be going viral.
We've done so good at not having feet anywhere in our live streams up to now.
I like how that was
guys. We
got to focus on this. Long. This is the problem.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay. While the whistling banshee is going on. Okay. Downmixed Atmos mixes are better, and more people need to know that they exist. Downmixed Atmos mixes. Interesting.
Wait, sorry.
I have no opinion on this. Downmixed Atmos mixes are better, and more people need to know that they exist.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would like to hear more of them. I think I've only legitimately heard one downmixed Atmos mix, and it was, I mean, comparable to a well-done stereo mix. So yeah, pretty good.
Have y'all seen Crinical's favorite IEM video, the recent one? I didn't like how some of the IEMs were labeled meta-attuned liberally. I haven't seen it, but I think Griffin probably would hate this even more.
Yeah, so Mark made a term, and it got co-opted into a term to sell things.
Mark's fault.
That's
Mark,
just-
it's all your fault. Did
I
you know,
mean,
Mark,
no,
when
it's
you
not-
coined that term, did you know that? Did you expect this would happen?
I mean, that's just what happens in the IEM space.
Yeah, I
like,
guess.
regardless
In
of
one
what his
second.
intention was, it was going to happen anyway. So
Yeah.
I don't put too much blame at the foot of Mark. I do put some at the foot of Kryn though, because yeah. Basically, the way he justified an IEM being good or on the list was saying it is meta tuned-ish in one way or another. And
well, it's true that like there's a lot of older IEMs as well that ended up being that. We just didn't use the term then.
I think he's too liberal with it.
Yeah. Oh, Blaine's cutting off.
Blaine, stop.
All right. Audio is a waste of time, and we all need a real hobby like stamp collecting and anime figure painting. Probably.
Opinion discarded for misspelling the word hobby intentionally.
Yeah. What other, if we weren't pathological, what other hobbies would you guys?
I mean, I play music. Like
Yeah, but that's doesn't.
This started as a
remove you
side
from-
hobby, and then someone decided to pay me for it, which is my last job was
Okay,
more
if
about
it
the other
wasn't music related, what
I
would
don't
it
have
nothing.
enough
I
money
would
to
have
do
no
motorsport
personality.
stuff, so
dude?
that would be an option if I had money. But
this
I
weekend, this weekend is going to be insane.
don't. Oh, what do you?
What if? No, I'm just saying.
the F1. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm excited for that. I'm gonna go watch it with my stepdad.
Blaine.
He has been leaf blowing a 10 by 10 foot area for this entire time.
That's good content, though. Yeah,
I
Blaine.
thought that Joshua's comment was interesting there, but I also don't want to subject people to this shit.
What is it? I mean, yeah, don't worry about the sound. Just
The other hobby stuff. I mean, I've put a fair bit into like coffee stuff, but I don't necessarily know if that's a hobby.
It
in
can be.
quite the same way. It
Coffee,
can be. Some people
wine.
make it one. Yeah, I'm into it, but it's not the same kind of thing. Like I'm not in coffee forums and stuff to quite the same degree. I just like having a nice coffee. I mean, photography, videography stuff's probably one like that. That I definitely spend a fair bit more time on.
I mean, humans are much more visual creatures, and so
Yeah.
writing with light is fascinating. Blaine, any other hobbies that you should be doing if you weren't terminally in this space? Yeah.
Well, I guess at this point, technically, it should be CNC machining, right? Because I've accidentally ended up owning them.
Yeah. You tripped and fell and landed in a CNC farm.
I was very into EUC riding for a while, and then they became illegal in the UK, so not anymore. But those were, I mean, that's probably good for my continued survival, but those are fun.
I want to get into flying drones, FPV drones, getting drone footage.
Well, why don't you?
I might. I need to buy a drone. But the reason being is I like to go hiking, and I live on the island now, and there's some great places to get some really sick drone shots. And yeah, so I want to do that. All right, that was a fun little digression.
Mark says audio is not a waste of time, and nobody should engage in stamp collecting or anime figure painting.
That's also true. When I was young, I never had a chance. My dad was committed to making it so that my brother and I would be nerds and eventually leave our rube-laden small rural community. He made it so that I was into chess, and we obviously played musical instruments as kids. Yeah, we played musical instruments as kids. We played violin, and I should briefly played the cello, but then I got into piano, and my brother kept going with violin. So we had that nerd stuff already going on, but my brother was forced to collect stamps. So I feel like I dodged a bullet. All right, next one is intolerable treble is easier to EQ.
Did someone in chat just say I'm going bald?
I mean, you've gotten a haircut.
But I mean, that is how baldness starts.
Why am I choppy as fuck?
You get haircuts. Huh? You all good?
Yeah, I just looked really choppy and low res for a second there.
Maybe you just were for a second. All right. Intolerable treble is easier to EQ than an unbalanced mid-range if you can completely EQ on your own head. Maybe with IEMs.
If you could completely EQ on your own head is doing a lot of lifting there, unfortunately.
So the reason why I think this is interesting is like if you have a length mode issue with an IEM, that is maybe easier to suss out than whatever the fuck is going on with acoustic impedance problems. For in situ,
I would say in an IEM that is less controversially true.
Yeah. Majority of a majorly untapped audiophile market is an active concert earplugs. What?
Yeah, I mean,
people don't pay attention to the
doesn't that exist,
minuendos already?
Yeah,
and those are passive and have a quite flat FR. So
it
already exists, and people just don't buy it.
Yeah. So it's not.
It's not a link to those because I need to get some new ones anyway.
Or it says listeners.
I can also send you a link to the guy who made them. He's on my Discord. Nice guy.
Oh, sick. Yeah, please do. Yeah, I don't think active options at a concert are necessarily going to be the best option. I mean, active for hearing protection is generally not a good plan.
What do you mean?
Especially when you're talking about 100+ dB at high frequencies type stuff.
I don't know. I feel like, yeah, for the really loud events, it's you need just as much isolation as possible, and you kind of need to just take the L in terms of audio quality. But for certain smaller gigs, I found that the AirPods Pro 2 adaptive cancellation is actually really impressive, and yeah, it keeps the spectral balance much more accurate. So
no,
yeah,
I'm just
it's not
talking
going to be appropriate
about
for
the
everything.
louder concerts. I went to a Pendulum concert a week before last, and like that there ain't no ANC that was gonna help with that.
So Josh's question, which we have now got to, is Golden.
Keep the graphs, Cam.
What?
Oh, he just sent me stuff on Discord. Okay, that is pretty impressive.
Golden mentioned that headphone sound is 100% FR at the eardrum. Do you all agree? What about acoustic impedance and openness?
Wait, GoldenSound said this?
Did GoldenSound said this?
Or are you?
I didn't say it in this stream, and it wasn't quite how I mentioned it.
I feel like I have to. So I feel like this is a common thing. It's a common criticism people will say.
I feel like we all may have said this.
All of us, yeah. That FR, it's FR.
But we should probably, as a group, acknowledge that
we haven't actually said this. We haven't said this. What we've said is that it is the predominant factor, right?
I think I have said this when I was generalizing a little bit. But
if you're generalizing,
revisionism.
Well, okay, but like, none of us hold that position, right? That it is all that now. I don't think we've ever held that position.
I think some of us may have said this in the past before.
Whomst? Have you actually held that position?
I think I may have said this in the past before. I think Andrew may have said this in the past.
I've never said this as a generalization, right?
Yeah.
But that always contains with it the context of provided there isn't some super fucky shit going on with harmonic distortion that is audible, or provided there aren't other things that would potentially be audible, right? Like, and certainly I've not said that that's all there is to the perception of this, right? Because there are other factors that are contributive to the perception of all of this stuff, right? So I feel like that's I don't want us to be misquoted in terms of, because people will take that to mean that we think that it's just FR, and then what about all these other things? That's like, yeah, no, I mean there are other things, right?
Yeah, I think because it was in the podcast I did with Wave Theory,
right.
And it was in the context of talking about how detail and soundstage aren't things that exist outside of frequency response. I can't remember if I mentioned in that there are some non-FR related things. Like I think I've spoken on here before about how for me, if my ear touches the pad, that immediately affects my perception of spaciousness to quite a notable degree, even if it's like not changing the obviously any position is going to change the frequency response slightly, but I mean regardless of what the tuning is, that aspect affects my subjective perception of it. Outside of of the frequency response. But for the most part, it is, frequency response out the eardrum is the dominant factor.
Yeah.
But there are other things that affect it.
Yeah.
It was more just trying to point out that, like, the idea that, detail, soundstage, timbre, whatever, are things that exist separate of frequency response is not true. In regards to acoustic impedance, though, which is part of the question, I think the answer there is that, well, yeah, but it's not that acoustic impedance separately necessarily affects things, but rather the acoustic impedance determines what the frequency response at your eardrum is going to be.
It also has
There is a nuance.
Yeah.
The Grill has been beating that drum.
What's Roman Sleeper's work on? Is it Roman Sleeper who's doing the acoustic impedance stuff, or is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did Doug share with you, Andrew? Did Doug share with you the EQ acoustic impedance stuff? I don't think we can talk about it, but
no, I don't think so.
Okay, I'll chat to you about that later.
Yeah. What I was gonna say in response to that is that because the ear is detecting pressure regardless of sound playing in the chamber, like that your ear is in, and because like we are never playing music in perfectly quiet spaces, there is still an effect that openness has to the overall presentation of the sound. The example I've probably gone back to too many times at this point is the AirPods Pro in noise canceling and transparency mode have the same FR as measured in the ear, like by the device and insured by the device, but the sound is very different. The impression of that same frequency response changes a lot based on the noise floor and the feeling of openness. The transparency mode sounds a lot brighter.
Yeah, the perception is different, right?
That makes sense. I guess I'm thinking of it more in a standalone. I mean, like me personally, I'm usually listening to headphones I'm in the middle of nowhere in a treated room often anyway, and so that isn't necessarily such an effect. So I'm more thinking of it as like, I guess is the acoustic impedance ignoring frequency response going to provide better detail type thing? Which, yeah, I agree. It's going to affect perception or presentation if there is stuff reaching your eardrum that is going to be affected by it. In the case of a quiet environment where that isn't going to change and it's only going to be affecting the sound from the headphone, I think it's a bit of a different thing.
Well, that's sort of what Axel's whole thing is, right? And weirdly, of all people, Valve have actually commented a bit on this.
Valve has some very interesting. I think I've spoken about it before, but their like audio pipeline stuff, which they've open sourced, by the way. I think I spoke about that when I was talking about like the spatial enhancement, the one with GSE. They've got some very cool stuff in their audio, like 3-dimensional audio processing engine, which is worth looking into if you're interested in the software. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail that.
Oh no, that was their logic for the Index's ear speaker things. The reason that those BMR ear speaker drivers are like a thing that Tectonic sells was that they found that the sense of occlusion in and of itself changed people's perception of space, which makes sense to me and is basically Axel's thesis, as I understand it at least, is that, but it directly affects timbre in addition, and like the perception of detail in addition to the perception of space. Which could be true.
I love the like thoughtful answer while there's a screaming leaf blower in the background.
Not as bad now as it was before, but
I hate them. I hate them so much.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like to me, like it is all, I think for a lot of people, it's hard to separate out that idea of like, oh, the perception is of it is one thing that's affected by all these different factors, including like something as simple as attention, right? The perception of what you're listening to is highly suggestible by, everything. Like psychoacoustics is a hell of a drug. But as far as the acoustic shit, that for anything that is related to what the sound is doing, there is a way to measure those things, and we can understand that stuff in terms of things like frequency response, rarely harmonic distortion, or some other measurable thing. But what we notice when we go looking for any of the more, let's say, commonly audiophile term suggested things like soundstage, like maybe soundstage is a harder one, but like dynamics, detail, all this kind of stuff, we invariably find frequency response at the eardrum as being the cause of that. And the thing that people probably need to remember or consider, even if you don't understand, even if you're not privy to like the differences between what you see on the graphs and let's say the in situ response that you get on your own head, just think about the infinite possible frequency relationships that can exist and the combinations thereof. That alone, like that's the kind of thing that should make your brain go, there's probably something to the fact that there's just so many different ways for sound to exist at your eardrum, and how this would affect the program material, the music that you're listening to. It's like putting your music through an infinite range of possible filter combinations.
Headphones do kind of be maximally weird sometimes.
Yeah.
Is this any better?
You're good.
Yeah.
I liked it. I don't think you needed to change anything.
No, I don't care about the sound. It's just the baby's visible now. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, you now
better.
see why I have two chairs. I used to just have that chair, and then she started doing this, and she cries if I take it away. So
wait, isn't that your Lifeform chair?
Yes, it is.
Yes, the Lifeform is on the chair.
You've been relegated to the Mira 2 without the butterfly mesh.
Kissa gets
I
the
don't
better
actually.
chair.
No, this is the Mira 1, and I actually prefer that to the Mira 2.
You don't like the butterfly, or what is it called? The material.
Yeah,
that's on the.
Well, I like the back, but the problem is the Mira 2 is too narrow and my shoulders are too broad.
Really? I found interesting.
That's a problem I have with everything except for the Aeron C and the Mira 1.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
I'm built different.
Yeah, you are. I just recently bought a Hayworth Fern because the Embody. I bought an Embody and it was terrible. Like I don't understand how that is like the high end chair that people always recommend, because it is just not. It's not shaped right.
I think that part of it is you do have to figure out the weird tension thing. For me, I kind of got it to a good space, except that I was constantly doing this with my shoulders because, again, it was too narrow.
Well, but there's like a gap. Like it gives you support in the upper back and it gives you support in the lower back, but then it like forces you into the hole in between, and so you're constantly like, it's a weird feeling.
I mean, I think maybe that's just you hunching too much.
I felt like I hunched more because of that chair, and I felt like a chair should make you just be less hunched, I guess. So yeah, I recently ordered a Hayworth Fern just to see what that's like. They have good return policies. So
Edwin actually had a good question, and Cameron, you gave your own response in chat, but I would like to hear you kind of expand on it in voice. But Edwin's question is, what makes you all jaded about the industry? That it's easy to make good stuff and no one is, or that it's stupid hard and low-key hopeless?
I don't know. I think people are making good stuff. I think good stuff exists.
Depends on how you define good.
I think they're definitely getting better. I mean, we talked about in the upcoming ranking list thing, like this year has been one of the best years, I think, for releases of good, affordable stuff. But it's not so much that it's hard to make good stuff. It's just that a lot of manufacturers weren't trying to. They were chasing things which were more marketable, party tricks and stuff, rather than trying to make good stuff. Or B, and this is still a problem, but getting a bit better, is that a lot of manufacturers just were doing their own thing, weren't paying any attention to what anyone else was doing or existing available information and research on that would help them make good stuff. It's not that it's actually necessarily that hard to make good stuff, and companies have done it, especially this year. But just a lot of them weren't trying to, or weren't bothering to, I guess is a better way of putting it.
For me, it's the community discourse constantly doing this thing where because it sounds like a certain acoustic event or a certain acoustic thing is taking place, that therefore it is taking place.
It's a fast driver.
Yeah, that shit is so annoying. But it's like I can understand completely why they get there. It's just that they're not willing to go one step further.
And that makes you jaded about the industry?
Sorry, no, that's the fact that the industry plays to this, right? Sort of sees that takes that and turns the volume up in their marketing material to sell people on that shit. Like even stuff in cases where the product is genuinely good, the selling point is from the marketing material and the discourse. It's all just this intertwined, woven, layer of bullshit that to me makes me fairly jaded about it all.
Mark's take says, you guys are killing the magic of the audiophile hobby, and we're just going to be left with really well-tuned gamer headphones.
See, the thing is that there is a reasonable perspective that like we are neutering this space of fun. And my response to that is no, we're not. The fun is actually in the experience of the music.
So I have a little bit of a different answer to this question. Like, I actually do think it's pretty hard to make good products. Like I don't think the only issue is that they're playing to a flawed user base, and that they are focusing more on marketable things than tangible benefits. I think that headphones are a problem that hasn't realistically been solved yet, because there are so many like products that get accompanied with speakers for calibration and stuff like that, and there is, I think, a better more communicable way to get that to customers.
You say that.
I mean, it's got problems of its own.
Of course it has, but it's like if it's going to get solved, it's this kind of shit, I
mean, I agree. I do think it's solving for problems that are not sound quality, and in doing so does minimize how good it could possibly sound. Like the fact that it is a closed headphone and needs to be for that kind of customer does mean people who maybe would take even higher or better advantage of the really cool technology in it have to compromise and get a closed back headphone. It's the same with like the HDB 630 and its parametric EQ.
Now here's a question related to that. HDB 630 doesn't do the snapshotting of the canal and correcting for any of that shit, but it gives you full parametric EQ. If you could choose one or the other, which would you choose?
The parametric EQ.
The parametric EQ. And it's now what if the Bose thing could do the Pinna as well?
I would still take the parametric
EQ. Still take
it, because I can't guarantee that anyone's capture of my ear is going to result in a sound quality.
Because you're at the mercy of their calculations. Like what
and that's what they think sounds good. Like that's the customizability is always going to be better, but that can't be expected for a mass consumer product like the Bose to be that same level of customization. Like that,
I agree.
People just aren't going to engage with that. But I guess what I'm saying is that while yes, our community is fundamentally flawed at their base because there's no unifying principle of sound quality or how sound works, because everyone has just been thrown to the wind in terms of them being, not to be too paternalistic, but like allowed to have all of these disparate viewpoints on sound reproduction with no coherent dismissal of these things. And while yes, it is also a problem that the brands making these products are marketing based on that or marketing based on even wilder shit, it's still pretty damn hard to make a good headphone that is maximally likely to sound good to most people, be comfortable to most people, and be at a price that is reasonable for most people to afford. So I think what makes me most jaded is the fact that there are companies with enough resources to do it, like Sennheiser and Hi-Fi Man, who go about it in a way that, is either, for my tastes, not ambitious enough, which is what I would say about most of the Sennheiser offerings that have come out recently, or just too focused on, I guess, a very particular thing, which is what I would say of the Hi-Fi Man stuff. And I feel like they are kind of a good bookending, maybe comparison point between the two of them, because I think Sennheiser is so focused on utility and Hi-Fi Man is most focused on like the appearance and impression of luxury, that both of them, I think, leave a lot on the table when it comes to their designs that they bring to market.
When I think Hi-Fi Man, I think impression of luxury.
I mean,
I
look,
just
if you're
wanted to
not
be-
someone who's been in the space for a really long time and has
Uh.
like the whole Reddit knowledge of their build quality sucking, I think the first time you pick up, like, if you're used to gaming headsets and like normal consumer headphones, if you put a Hi-Fi Man headphone on your head, it's going to be the most comfortable headphone you've ever worn in your life, because it may actually not touch your ears, and it's probably
That's
going to have a
true.
suspension strap,
Yeah.
even if it's heavy. Oh shit, am I frozen?
No, you're
Am I
good.
frozen?
Not on our end.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it
it's
also like has
comfortable,
a
but they
look
don't
about it
feel
that
well
is-
built.
They don't. When you pick it up, you don't get that feeling of like.
They don't feel well built, but they look well built, which is enough to confer that to, I think, a lot of people.
If you pick up an Odyssey, it feels.
It feels
You know.
heavy.
No, it doesn't.
It feels heavy.
It feels like
Neither
it's in.
Odysseys nor Hi-Fi
Yeah.
Mans feel well built.
The thing
I
is,
just
well
wanna mention
built
that-
is a very squishy thing in its own right. Like, I think what we would consider well built may not actually feel well built to a typical person.
I think this.
I
this
don't
is
think
well
so.
built. This
I
right
think
here,
that
like
there
this
is.
has.
I think people would perceive that as cheap because it's lightweight.
It's true. I think you're right. Unfortunately.
So there's.
Um,
This is something that I've
and I-
actually been kind of into lately. There are a lot of things that come together to seemingly pretty consistently make people say something feels good. A lot of it basically boils down to how things do and don't move and sound. Like things that rattle are universally hated as poorly built, but something that's really stiff also feels wrong. You want to have a specific, consistent, smooth resistance to motion and no play whatsoever on axes that are not.
Which is why the Meze stuff is regularly recommended for good premium builds.
Because it's actually designed.
Yeah. But I would say that the build quality on this, like for the materials, is actually pretty good. Despite it, like
that's just such a fixable problem. I can't believe that they let that through. Because generally I agree. High-end ATs have felt well built.
Yeah.
In chat, Kevin asked a question which kind of loops back to
it's a good one.
Two of our earlier discussions, one of which being what's something that you kind of have to keep repeating, but also the is it all FR at the eardrum type thing? Basically saying, why is it that two transducers, one of them will have more perceived detail even if the headphones are tuned to the same target? And I just want to mention that being tuned to the same target and having the same frequency response, particularly at the eardrum in situ, are not the same thing. Like, even if you look at two Harman tuned headphones, they're probably not going to actually have the same frequency response. They will vary, and especially even just in a broad sense. But also, if you look at the more fine-grained information, in many cases, they'll be quite different. Getting close to a target is not the same thing as two things having the same frequency response.
I've been thinking about how to represent that to people, and I honestly think the answer is, if you go to a place with a paint chip and they try to color match it, is it going to be perfect? And if it isn't, will it still not be red/white/blue?
That's a good analogy. It's like, well, these are both red, but they're not the same. They look different.
You can tell the difference.
Actually,
you wouldn't need to really peer in to say, oh yeah, no, those are clearly different.
Yeah. This is one thing that actually I find bugs me about particularly speaker measurements, is that when people do speaker measurements, they are shown with such a more enormous y-axis than headphone measurements are, usually to more clearly show the bass roll off.
Yeah.
But it ends up with people describing many speakers as completely flat or exact or whatever. But then actually, if you zoom in, there's a 4 dB variation between here. Like, if you had a headphone plot or showed this the way that you would a headphone plot, it would be nowhere near.
Right. So the problem isn't to say that that's bad necessarily, but there's a false equivalency issue that people will take to these two things are similarly, even though
people will criticize a headphone for being 2 dB above a target, but then they'll take a speaker where it's 4 dB from 1 kilohertz to 5 kilohertz or something and go, oh, it's flat because the line looks real close on this graph. But actually, it's just because the y-axis is scaled. That's something which I wouldn't say I've hammered a lot, because I've not really spoken about speaker measurement stuff, but it is something that bugs me quite a bit.
And to be fair, that is mostly addressed with CEA 2034 because that's a 50 dB scale. However, that isn't actually in any way validated. This is something that I've been sort of getting ornery about over time. Why don't we have and this isn't an audio problem. This is just a universal problem. Why don't we have visualizations that? Why did my camera turn? That will match the magnitude differences that we perceive, right? Like, okay, apparently it's just tracking me now. Stop that. I hate technology.
That's a much more complex problem than, frankly, a lot of the shit we hem and haw about on streams like this. Like, that is basically a question of, does line on screen even relate?
It's really kind of a problem, though, because I started thinking about this when I was wondering, how do we stop people from being always horribly wrong when they read measurements? And because they are, right? Like, always. And then I was like, well, I mean, what is 1 dB? Like, what is the magnitude of visual difference that represents how different a 1 dB change sounds? And then I was like, well, wait, why? All of our data scales are just based on mathematical expediency. We've never really thought that much about what actually matches magnitude differences in data viz to the actuality. Like, humans will not place things correctly.
These are the things that keep Blaine up at night. What is 1 dB?
They are actually the things that keep me up at night.
I actually think the only person I've seen have any attempt in the audio space to do something that kind of addresses what you're talking about is the ratings peak and dip thing.
Mm-hmm.
I never found it especially useful, but I could see why they would want to attempt something like that.
They're making a score. My thing is, I want to figure out a visualization that if I show someone a scatter plot, the magnitude differences that they intuit from it actually match the actual differences. Because as it is, we all learn to decode headphone measurements into perceived magnitudes, right? And that's like a pretty annoying ass skill to learn, to be frank.
Yeah.
Like, obviously there's how to listen and stuff, but like getting, particularly for the finer grain stuff, you can hear it, but being able to sketch out on a plot what an FR sounds like and be even mildly accurate takes fucking forever. And that to me shows that our plots are bad, right? Like, if you can identify the tones that are different, then if you can't plot the differences in magnitude correctly, it's an issue of the plotting.
This reminds me of the homunculus problem.
The homunculus.
It's
a homunculus, but it doesn't believe in natural truths for morality.
Blaine, Kevin in chat has been asking us to talk about this.
What about it?
Triangles, Blaine. Why did you leave the triangles in there?
Kevin says Blaine and Resolve were discussing the tuning of the Bandos Avija as the design was created by Blaine. Both Andrew and Blaine discussed the limitations of that particular transducer.
Well, I mean, every transducer has limitations. Andrew didn't like it more than I did, I think. I don't even remember which exact one that was. Is that just
so to be clear, these ones
substrate?
There's several different ones. I think this one's actually the I believe this is the PET, but there's one that's got gold, there's one that's condom material, there's a bunch of different ones.
The limitation was that Andrew didn't feel they were sufficiently technical.
Well, not in this case.
Actually true.
Not in this case, though. In this case, the frequency response was because I put this into a cup and did the measurements and everything. But in this instance, it was the very modal FR, which these ones, I don't know if it's because this is also not like, this is the one from Fine, I believe. The other ones that we had were less modal, and we did end up finding one that was sufficiently great in all the things we wanted. Unfortunately, that one of them got punctured, and it's the one that got away. But the funny thing about this is that these drivers, for folks who are unaware, ended up making it to
AliExpress and Alibaba. I mean, to be clear, because people will immediately assume that Bandos or whoever bought them on AliExpress, which may have, I don't know. You will be offered these if you went to these OEMs from their websites and said, I want a driver.
Yeah.
So it's not like these are just necessarily being bought one off piecemeal or whatever, even that this person necessarily knew they were on AliExpress or whatever.
Yeah,
Which is
and
a
they were.
small nuance, but
I'm not sure. I didn't read the full thread, but basically, it's a headphone manufacturer selling them headphones for something like I think $5,000 or something like that. It's a high end one, and I don't know how this came to light, but it came to light that the driver being used was one that could be found on AliExpress, and then
it came to light that driver was ours. Well,
Yeah.
there was one that we had worked on. I mean, like, it's not like we have the IP to it.
no, but it's literally the one.
Well,
that
actually,
you
if we
designed.
did
You
want to do an
designed.
IP thing, that would get weird.
Yeah,
That would get really weird. Anyway, yes, yes. And it has those annoying little fucking triangles.
What I found strange
I hate
about all
them.
of this was that the company or the group, I don't know enough about.
I think Bandos is just a guy.
Yeah, no. I was saying I don't know enough about the group who was doing the manufacturing, because we had a consultation with another organization that these were meant to sort of integrate with, and so I don't know
but
enough.
those guys don't actually know our OEMs for these, so they can't have been the source.
So that's what I'm saying is like what strikes me as surprising is that this was something that then Fine was like, fuck it, let's let's add it to our repertoire of drivers that people can potentially buy.
I mean, maybe they think it's good.
Yeah, fair.
It seems the Bandos thinks it's good.
It certainly does. Yeah.
I really like. I don't know. I feel like people are trying to kind of cancel Bandos for selling something with a driver he didn't design or whatever. Like that seemed like there were some folks in the thread.
Oh,
and and he also DM'd me and was like, "Hey, you've got to fix this." And I'm like,
which headphone is this?
Avija.
Avija.
Because I know there's been there's been a couple recently. Like there was the Camerton.
Oh no, I remember the Camerton.
No.
Yeah,
This-
I mean,
this
those
Camerton
ones
actually
are like
found a video
inexcusable
on
because they're
saying it
5
was great.
grand using a non-proprietary, like just an AliExpress driver, and they were terrible. There's
think
another
it
one
doesn't
recently
matter.
called Newer Harmonia, which is also using an AliExpress driver, but apparently it's quite good. So I don't know.
No, this was
Well,
one that.
and
This is one that Passion for Sound did a video on saying it's the best headphone.
We said it was
something which is hilarious to me. But
yeah,
fuck, what's his name? Nice guy. I think he's either a Slovene or maybe no. I think he's a Slovene.
I thought you said Slitheen for a second, and I was going to be like,
Slytherin.
oh
yeah, he's
no,
a
it's a Doctor
Slytherin.
Who reference. Fake Brit. I found the fake Brit.
Fuck, what is his name? I should remember him, but yeah, I've met him in person. Very nice guy. He does a couple of planers, and he has one that's also based on one of those drivers, I think.
Oh, you're talking
Ren
about
Fox, I think he goes by or something.
Rain Audio.
Fox.
Yeah. Nice guy. I remember that guy came. He was at the
LTX.
LTT. Yeah, LTX. Yeah. We
In
listened to
Canada?
his stuff there. Yeah.
Yes.
That's how we first encountered him.
Why was he in
Yeah,
Canada?
he's a very nice boy.
Yeah. Really cool because he was making his own drivers at the time.
I think he still makes his own drivers, but also like there's something to be said for not manufacturing every part of your headphone yourself, particularly if it's only you.
Yeah. But no, I wanted to make it clear that like it wasn't like this, like that. I didn't care about the fact that the guy was making, high end headphones with the driver that Blaine designed. Like I don't even care that it's expensive, because like in my mind it's like power to him. Like
I mean, the headphone
it's
seems decently tuned. I don't see any reason to be
I don't
upset.
have any issue. Yeah, so like when people were getting upset in the thread about that, it's like even if you look at drivers like I think this one, if you wanted to buy it on AliExpress, it's still super fucking expensive on AliExpress. So it's like I don't. If anybody wanted to make a headphone with this, the fact that it's very expensive does not shock me.
People also don't really understand what the relationship of BOM and MSRP is in a healthy company. I actually recently saw I recently saw someone who I have been working with on a product run into a professional outsourcing firm, and they were like, "Yeah, no, you want something that's 4 to 5 times your cost of goods sold as the general rule." And I was like, I mean, that's pretty much what I've been saying, but then like all of the numbers had to change as a result of that because even people who are coming in with not the intention of selling something at a loss, often they're like, oh, if I just do 2x my BOM, I'm good. You are not good. You are very not good. You will get fucked. Been there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just personally curious to hear this Bandos Avija thing. Be curious to hear what somebody who decided to take that to completion was able to do with it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I have no real opinion. I don't want to cause trouble for Bandos, but I also don't want, like, if he was like, this is something that was custom designed for me from the ground up, that would be a lie. I don't know if he said that. I have no idea what was said. I just mostly don't want people to ever be misled about what something is and isn't if I can tell them the truth. In this case, that truth is this is a driver that at bare minimum shares a very large number of parts and design features with one that I worked on and is to some degree a commodity product, which doesn't mean that the product based on it is bad.
Yeah.
Spicy question. What is the most ethical and unethical headphone?
Did the guy who made the that's probably pretty unethical.
Sorry, what?
Well, who was that designer who made the handbag with the ethically sourced child spine? Has he made a headphone?
Ethically sourced child spine?
I've seen this.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I've seen this.
I mean, there is a head. I think wasn't it a Focal one, which it was like all? No, it was Beats. Beats did one. It was like
there were both
diamonds.
There was also the Tornado. Tornado.
Yeah, so that's probably pretty unethical.
That's pretty yeah.
Those were regular diamonds.
I mean, they might just be diamonds from a non-conflict area.
Most ethical headphones. What? How do you define ethical though? Like,
this is I shouldn't
biodegradable.
I platformed this question.
What biodegradable headphones?
Okay, what is the most ethical?
right?
What is the most ethical?
No, think about it. Grado, because Grado headphones are literally just bits of garbage that have been gigapressed together, and then once you stop using Grados, they become bits of garbage again.
So it's upcycling.
It's upcycling and then recycling again.
So that's the most ethical headphone, you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm imagining the email that's gonna come from the Grado folks about the Grado headphones are literally just bits of garbage pressed together. Actually, can we get that on like a large poster that I can? I would actually an inspirational picture of Andrew, and that underneath it is a poster I would literally put on my wall.
Yeah. Oh, Kevin, are you in Vancouver? I don't live in Vancouver anymore. Sorry, I moved to the island.
I mean, that's just Vancouver, but not shit.
Yeah.
Like in the same way that people say I live in Seattle. Except that Olympia is still shit.
I think the most...
I do not think open source headphones are most ethical. I don't even think they're ethical.
Based.
See, if anything, my response to Grado is going to be that at least I said that they were the most ethical headphone.
That's true. I don't think anyone else would have said that.
No.
Yeah,
so they could take that quote and put that on the product page.
I can't think of an alternative. Realistically.
For most ethical or least?
Most.
Actually, I have a weird ethics adjacent thing relating to headphone purchases. I was chatting with Doug, and basically,
Douglas,
because I was thinking like, how is Grado still in existence?
Oh yeah, I was chatting with Doug about this like a while ago as well.
Yeah, and he mentioned this about Grado, but then it turns out that actually the biggest culprit is the Sony MDR 7506, which like Sony's a big enough company that they probably don't care. But for a lot of like audio related university programs and things like that, apparently these are like a required purchase because they are deemed accurate. How, just from a business standpoint, how much of a lottery ticket is that where people are obligated to buy your product regardless of how much
It's true of quite a few studio headphones.
Unintentionally solving the circle of confusion.
I would bet that Grado overall actually gets more sales just because they have a really, really strong dealer network. Like boomers are the target audience of Grado. Boomers and hipsters, but boomers are the core of it.
Yep.
And that one guy with the brick on the train as well.
Yep.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unethical.
Wasn't there like an original Grado that was supposedly actually very, very good?
This has been claimed, but mostly by SBF.
No, I think that the RS1 is quite differently tuned. It's like ear gain lit instead of ear gain full.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think Caleb heard one at a show.
Yeah, a few people heard it at Toronto this year.
They should just do that again.
Well, what was I going to say? Oh, what's the least ethical headphone?
The least ethical.
The least AB 1266
for the torture it inflicts in terms of ergonomics.
Literally, I think that the intersection of Funds Cable Company is physically painful and produces an incredible amount of material waste because it's CNC'd into existence, makes it a legitimate contender.
It's a pretty good one, actually.
I feel like it's probably going to be something which is manufactured in not like, because Abyss, say what you want about the material waste, they're making them in America, paying people properly.
Well, yeah, but that's immoral too. I don't want to pay New Yorkers.
Remember, Blaine is in a agree. True.
I didn't want to mention that, but that was on my list.
And made in a place where they are not treating people well.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to be, I don't think we're going to be able to work it out, but there's definitely going to be some of those.
You have to remember that Blaine is an emotivist. So
true.
It's asking moral questions. There's no truth value to moral questions for him.
There is no truth value to moral questions at all. Show me a moral fact or I'll fucking beat you with a fire poker.
We should have this conversation. Maybe not on this stream.
One of the most based Wittgenstein moments in the top 5, up with that time that he knocked a kid unconscious for getting a math problem wrong.
Yeah, I'm having a bit of trouble thinking of anything except for Virum, but like.
Oh, right, because
I feel like that's kind of a cop out because it's like just about how bad of a dude he is.
Igor isn't even the worst person in this industry. He's just the one who has no filter about all the horrible things.
He's very loud about how bad he is.
And frankly, possibly an unpopular take, but dude literally gives, he's employing people in the war zone area of Ukraine.
That's what I mean. So that's why it's hard for me to say it's that.
It's kind of hard to say he's a villain. He's just an asshole.
Yeah.
Just an incredible asshole.
Yeah. I doubt
Joshua Clark,
any people that aren't white, though.
Yeah.
Does the ideology of a company ever dissuade you from buying their product? I don't really buy things from cable companies as a philosophical thing, just because the aesthetic of the brand you're buying from is part of the product.
So here's something. Wait. Okay, AudioQuest. Do they make products that are genuinely useful? Is in their product category?
Yeah.
Right. But they also do things that are...
Yeah. They do.
Right?
They do the bad thing.
Yeah. So does the fact that they do that impact, say you had a genuine use for one of their products that was, actually useful?
I have a bit of a take on this one, which is that I don't I don't really care when companies also do the nonsense stuff, because quite frankly, a fool and their money are going to be parted no matter who's taking it from them. And so if there is a good product in a company's lineup, fine, that's okay.
I don't know.
In some ways, I would rather the money goes to AudioQuest rather than funding Ted Denny's next Ferrari.
Fair. I think the reason it's easy for me to say like I would not buy something from a company I found like really unethical or a contributor to, you know,
the badness,
the negative parts of the discourse I don't want to support, is because I don't find most products good enough to where that's really a question. Like if I don't.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, what's the marginal cost? Like, if a company makes something that's like an APX but costs $100, there's no alternative unless I pay $50,000, and they're, you know, one of the designers was racist. I'm going to buy the $100 APX. But if there's a brand like Abyss or AudioQuest, right? Like, there's plenty of dong DACs. I would pay $20 extra to not buy an AudioQuest. It's a marginal benefit thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing the cost benefit analysis bit, and basically identifying where the threshold is. I do think there's at a certain point with certain companies that threshold changes because you can it feels a little bit like you are subsidizing their ability to profit off of mentally ill people. You know what I mean? Like there's a
well, you're assuming I'm against that for one thing, which is
no, I mean, there is something that is like shitty about, you know, like what Cameron said, like a fool and his money are easily parted. That's true. But
if they don't buy an AudioQuest cable, they're going to buy a Telos one, right?
Okay, so Telos is an example. We would say that Telos, the stuff that Telos is doing is fairly unethical.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's because there's nuance to the fool, right? Like some people are just, you know, super wealthy and wasting money on this stuff doesn't matter. But for other people who get really taken in by this stuff because of whatever they've been convinced by, right? The high suggestibility, that kind of stuff. I do feel that's kind of a problem. That's more of an issue than just a fool and his money are easily parted.
Well, the question is, do the whales need to be milked, or will they just sit on their own milk if they are not?
No,
milked?
the whales are going to be milked regardless.
Yeah, they need to be milked. So you need to have a plan for where the milk goes.
I think the thing is,
to your point, Cameron,
between a company like AudioQuest, you know, I mean, some of the stuff they make, like their power conditioners, regardless of whether a power conditioner is going to make a difference for a particular product, like some tube amps or something, it absolutely will. But they're like, of all the ones I've measured, because I have actually been working on that, were the most effective by quite a margin. They also sell cables and stuff, but then they don't really make the kind of, like, they sell expensive cables and they talk about all the materials and stuff, but they don't make or go out of their way to mislead people. Whereas something like Ted Denny and Synergistic Research, I mean, you've seen the length that he goes to try and explain why this is real and it's doing this, this, and this, and just completely making stuff up. I feel that's much more unethical, personally, is like going out of your way to mislead people rather than just offering a silly product.
There is a bit of a missing link here, though, which is that we don't go to retail stores. But and I was pondering this
because we don't go outside.
Yeah, I mean, we do not touch grass.
HDMI cable more unethical?
Well, no, but the thing is, you can argue that, like, I would argue that Monster is one of the most unethical audio companies because Noel Lee invented snake oil cables as a business model in functional terms. But both Monster and AudioQuest ran on the same model, which was offering retailers a very high markup item that they would then upsell people on. That, I think, is the best argument you have against the general professional ethics of AudioQuest, is that they played a large role in establishing hi-fi shops as snake oil sales, like sales platforms.
Yeah. What do you guys think about stuff like MQA?
I don't really care.
I'm trying to bring it back. It was on the front page of Headbuy. I don't think
honestly though, like, it's kind of an elaborate, like it's almost impressive how elaborate that scam is, as far as like the like if you think about like the effect that that's going to have on people when they have a device that can do MQA, where they've, you know, paid, like it costs more because it can do that, and then it has a little purple light that lights up. It's like that's actually quite clever, you know, like
yeah, no, they were quite clever about it. And I mean, they did things like, you know, I think there's, to the unethical point, never mind the just claims about it, but like going out of your way to make sure that it cannot be disproven and this kind of stuff, like, you know, trying to hide things. I mean, even with the rebrand that they're doing at the moment, where they're sort of trying to push it as MQA coming out with new stuff, when actually it's just all of what MQA already was, just they are now marketing the individual bits with different names. So like the renderer's called Chrono or something, and then the encoding bit's called something different, and then they've got their Bluetooth. So it's like, it's the same. It's literally the same thing as far as I can tell. But they've just decided to, put some fancy marketing on each individual bit, so now you can buy a new thing. Maybe the light will be a different color as well.
One of the rare bits of hardening discussion I've seen in this space is that MQA got absolutely fucking dunked on in that thread. No one except for maybe one person in the multiple pages was excited about this. And I thought it was really funny that it was also like Moon Audio, like the retailer known for their cables specifically,
for
where the
oil and
people to like
snakes.
they be oiling their snake.
Do you want to know something funny? Which I don't know if I should. Well, why not? They asked me to do a podcast with them, and I said yes. And it was being organized and stuff, and then suddenly they just ghosted me. No, the Moon Audio people.
Oh, okay.
And I was going to do a podcast with them, and it was all being organized. Then they just suddenly ghosted me and stopped replying to anything. And then, like a couple weeks later, the MQA thing came out.
So this is before. I gotcha. Okay.
Intriguing.
It's pretty funny. How do you guys feel about the fact that like there are a bunch of other audio podcasts now? Like Deconi's doing one.
Terrible.
is doing one.
I mean, I think this got a very
feel
specific audience. This is not meant to be a general approach thing. This is for the people who really want to suffer through the nerdy stuff.
But I think it's interesting that there are these other podcasts that aren't that. Like as far as I'm aware, the Bloom Audio podcast is a lot more, maybe not more casual, but it's less focused on this because I mean the people aren't like hyper nerds; they're like audiophiles.
I think the more the better. Like the more that gets people into the space and the more content there is to consume stuff, the better. I think there's some of them which I don't like myself in many cases because some of them are basically just marketing in a longer format. But then, like generally speaking, more people engaging with doing podcasts, making videos, talking about this stuff is just an overall good thing, I think.
Yeah.
So my position is Cameron's, but the opposite. I feel immense guilt for having played a part in the rise of.
You give yourself too much credit. This was a thing for me.
I don't think that we are the big factor. I just feel guilty that I was part of the avalanche, which has buried sanity and reason. So literally Cameron's position, but inverted. I feel very sad that there is more of this content and wish I had not contributed to that.
I saw there was a podcast with Wave Theory and Lachlan. I think.
Good like Lachlan and Bad Lachlan.
Bad Lachlan, of course.
I don't know what Good Lachlan is up to these days.
He works at Minidisc, doesn't he?
Still working there, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I like Lachlan.
He got off the online space.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sensible.
That's great. Yeah.
I
like all healthy things that I'm hearing from Good Lachlan's life.
Okay, but I'm coming around to the idea that we should connect with Bad Lachlan and do
he's going to be real keen to do it if you keep calling him Bad Lachlan.
He knows who he is.
I don't have any desire to do that.
I know you don't. I'm just saying, like, I do think there's I don't know. I was persuaded by his AirPods Pro 2 video.
You weren't persuaded. You already thought all of those things. You weren't persuaded of anything.
No. I was obviously I thought all of those things. I'm just saying I was persuaded by his ability to communicate good ideas, or good, information. And so I thought, well, there's something here. There's a bridge to build. Like I had that moment of like
him choosing to do that in a video where he has nothing to gain other than to contribute to the conversation is different than when he has something to gain.
Something to gain, sure, but I feel like that's something that
you're reading into something way more positively than
there are things to explore there, because I do think that he genuinely has a passion for sound. Otherwise, why the fuck?
Sure.
So here's the funny thing. Griffin and I both don't really want to do anything with him, but for the opposite reason. You seem to think he's corrupt. I think that he is at most mildly
it's not
corrupt,
that.
but just irredeemably incompetent.
No. I have the same background information you do. It's just I don't see any benefit to us giving a platform to that.
I mean, this is true, but I feel
it's
the
not
same way
about
about
me having a difference of opinion from you, Blaine. Like I think we are.
this is true, but I have the same.
Right.
I would say the same thing about Amir, right? Like, but there are still reasons to do that kind of content, you know.
For now.
Yeah.
I feel like we were just Kevin said
Someone in
Boom
chat
Audio
says we should
podcast
get-
is for a much younger audience, and overabundance of the word bro. I personally need a bit more substance. I don't know. I might actually be into that. I feel like Matt specifically is someone I would like to spend time with outside of like shows. I feel like he would just be a good hang.
Sorry, Matt.
DeFazio? Matthew?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I think I met him at. Was he at the Hi-Fi
Younger
Con
guy,
thing?
tall, nice hair.
Maybe not then.
You're describing me.
Illegal Cyrus. No, we should not.
It would be fun to have Lachlan likes a thing Lachlan on at some point.
That
Says the
would
guy
be
who's
fun.
no longer a host, but
Yeah,
You're grandfathered in. You're
Literally.
a boy.
It would be kind of funny seeing Sharur and Lachlan having a discussion. I can't even
I have
imagine how.
no
Wait, good or
desire
bad,
to make
Lachlan?
people watch that. That just seems like
Oh no! Like it would be horrible, but yeah, no. Let's not invite.
Have you seen Grell's
that
podcast
person.
I have. Well, I've seen Grell's content. I don't know.
where he claims HD 600 was tuned for his own head, whereas OE1 should sound more correct for everyone? I somehow doubt that's what he said.
I feel like that could be a stylization of the fact that the HD 600 is not what you would call ear agnostic, whereas he was trying to make something more HRTFE with the OAE one.
Yeah, I mean, one, it didn't work, and two, I think it was the wrong HRTF. But
I mean, yes, we all agree. Like people here
Wow.
have heckled poor Axel multiple times about this in public.
Yes, but there is this. I see this constantly, and I even I was actually chatting with Olaf about this recently as well. But there is this constant desire to do the front biased sound field thing, because people are like, it should sound like what speakers sound like. It's like I get it. I get wanting to do that, but
Does that sound like what speakers sound like to you?
no, that's the problem.
Like that's the
wait, OAE1 was $99 last week?
yeah, no, that was actually a price that everyone should have bought at.
Wow, that's
No.
Really?
No, the comfort is bad enough that I wouldn't spend any money on it.
Okay, but how
honestly.
about this?
Listen,
Okay, do OAE1 $99, change the headband or something like that, right, to make it comfortable, or find some way to make it comfortable, but then EQ it to have a more normal frequency response and gain all the perceptual benefits.
What perceptual benefits? I already have headphones that are like more open than that.
Oh, the driver in front. The driver's like right here. Yeah.
But the frequency response is.
I know. I'm memeing.
the OAE one, I mean, like cards on the table. I want people to buy it even if it's not good, just because I want Grell audio to succeed.
I do
Yes.
too.
Yes.
Me too.
Like,
Yes.
which is kind of funny, right? Like we are collectively, I mean, less so me because I'm the most devil's advocate about it, but we have been consistently the most vocal haters of the OAE one.
Well,
And yet we
but not
all-
even the OAE one. Like it's the concept where. Well, I don't know. I'm not.
I have
actually
much
think-
more problem with the headphone than
with
the
the headphone than
concept.
the concept. Yeah, the
The
concept is.
OAE2 is quite a bit better.
Yeah.
Like it's still very similar design and has some of the problems, but it is definitely an improvement over the OAE.
Every single person I've heard that has heard the OAE1 stops at saying it's better. They never say it's good. It's just better, which I feel like is like saying pee is better than poo.
It's
Depends on
who you are.
I
Done the comparison
I
test.
do wish that they had just not repeated the same design direction as the OAE one. I mean, like they did fix the fact that the OAE one didn't fit on my head, which helps, and the positional variation is still a thing. and the tuning still has some of the same wonkiness, but it is definitely, it's like, because the OAE one I just didn't like at all, whereas the OAE 2, it's like, I could listen to this. I wouldn't buy it, but I could listen to it.
Okay, so the bar is in hell. But what I mean here is it's sort of interesting that this is a brand that we basically agree uniformly makes headphones that we could never ethically recommend, that yet which we personally
look at
wish
you
to
talking
see
about moral
succeed.
facts.
We really want Growl
Listen,
to
I'm a
make normal
universal
headphone.
prescriptivist. Moral facts are
That's-
me giving you orders.
Yeah, it's just loose talk.
The reason I wanted to succeed is I know that like in an afternoon, Axel Grell could make a headphone that would just body most of the headphones we've seen come out in like the last few years.
Yep.
Every time
the
I
fact
see
that he
him, I ask
chooses
him
not
to.
to, and he has his own mission is like not mission, but like his own ideas and things he wants to try out is fine. But I want Grell Audio to succeed long enough for one, it to be very successful for him.
We
because
needed, what do we need him to do?
Two, I also want a good headphone to come out of it.
We need him to make a good commercially successful headphone so that then he can fund the science projects rather than trying to make a science project that keeps the business alive.
I spent an entire podcast with them basically trying to sell them on this, if you recall.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. And also, I mean, the folks there are also great. Like Yermo is
100%.
Yermo's
one of the
great,
best.
Axel's
It's a
great.
family
They're just lovely
company,
people.
as far as ethics go, like
They're probably the most ethical.
he's a great guy.
No, family companies are unethical. As a child of like a third generation entrepreneur family companies are not ethical.
Okay, so all of the members of the family that work are of age and consent to being part of the company. This is
I know.
situation.
You don't know how, even with those things, I don't think you know how fucked up family companies are at a baseline.
I mean, they get pretty weird in terms of how it poisons the relationship, but I don't know if I would say that's an ethical downside.
I mean, ethical is what I say it is. As established.
Because he's an emotivist. For him, it's when you say something like, lying is wrong, what you're really saying is lying. You're not even saying it, you're just expressing it.
Ethics are unquestionably based. There's no counter argument to that.
Oh, there are many.
No, none that'll work.
We can get into it, but we shouldn't.
I mean, I think meta ethics would be an interesting thing to discuss on stream.
No.
It's interesting you bring that up because it's actually the meta ethical stuff where emotivism gets more interesting, but it's the ethical stuff where it falls down, like the non-meta ethical stuff, right? So if you're not asking the question of why be moral,
the thing is, emotivism doesn't really have any functional non-meta ethic component. Like you can pretty much
it's just not right. It's just that if you're asking the question about the right and wrong answers to get to non-suffering, you have an easy you don't need a meta ethic to do that. That's what I'm saying.
That's just stealing Buddhism's vibe.
Did you guys?
You can characterize it in many different ways.
Stretch her legs.
Wait, what?
Did you guys see Kissa stretch her legs?
No.
Yeah, she's so cute.
It's real good. I fucking love her.
I love my cat so much.
She's so sleepy.
I didn't realize this was just cat cam. I have the other panel up.
She is the laziest creature in all of creation, except when she's murdering birds and bringing them into the room, which she did just before the stream.
Blaine, does she know I love her? Like, do you think she knows?
I think she knows. She gets an incredible amount of love and affection for as much trouble as she causes.
Do you think she also knows that she's perfect?
She's not perfect. She is not perfect.
Wow, that is.
There are literally feathers from a bird she murdered and dragged into my room 2 minutes before I joined the call.
A maximally efficient murder, which you could say was perfect.
Anyways, I need to bounce. So this is
whack.
This has been fun. Yeah. There's a farmer's market that I want to go to, so I'm going to do that. They have really good chimichurri.
You've sold me. That sounds good.
So I'm going to go do that. As always, well, unless you guys want to keep going, I don't know. You probably don't need me for that.
Cameron is.
I gotta go get food as well. So
okay. you guys continue this in Discord or something on a stage or whatever.
Yeah, I
if you
should
want.
probably like go and tend to the wounds on my hands.
Yes.
The self-inflicted IEM wounds.
Yeah.
Many.
They're actually, these are not like, this isn't a bit. I actually did stab myself by accident twice while doing that.
You're insane.
This is why we love Blaine. Okay. Big thanks to Blaine for joining us for this one. As always, these streams are brought to you by the good folks at headphones.com. They make it possible for us to exist and in this space publicly, and they tolerate us. They're the best place to learn about and buy headphones. They have a crazy 365-day return policy. They want to make sure that you have the best possible experiences with your music, and all of our articles are posted there as well if you want to become as terminally nerdy about this stuff as we are. So check that stuff out. We also have a forum thread where we we bring topics to this stream, and we need help. We need your help, so please participate there, along with individual forum threads where we are doing our impressions of things,
musing,
whatever. All that good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
I
Also
think that's
have
it.
Discord.
Yeah, we have Discord. Yeah. Blaine is
Bye,
in that
everybody.
Discord, so you can bug him there.
Do it. Bug Blaine.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.